Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for the season finale. It is round 15, it's season 4, and it is end of term time at the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. My name is James Hurd. I'm delighted to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Tuesday evening. And joining me in the commentary box, it is, of course, the man with no face, apparently, on the camera screens. It is Mr. Jota. Jota, how you doing?
I wouldn't know. I can't see anything without my face, apparently. But yeah, it should be in for an absolute blinder tonight, isn't it? Season finale. We've got our champions, but that second place spot's still up for grabs between two teams that'd be desperate to get that runners-up spot for sure.
Definitely so. It is going to be really interesting indeed. Hopefully, everything will go according to plan in terms of the stream as well. What we're going to do, though, is actually transition you back to what happened last week and a severe incident that actually occurred with the championship picture in mind, which Jota has just referenced. Let's have a look at this video right here, which is the Liam Bowman Cameron Dowds incident. And this incident was a 3-second penalty. It will come up on your screens very soon. It was a force-off track by Liam Bowman. He dived it to the inside line through turn number 4 even at the loop, then just knocked him off track, turned the car basically right on Cameron Dowds, forced him out on the grass. The 3-second penalty was awarded with failing to leave racing room, and that means Team Chazoo even, are now champions, and we can now actually look at the standings graphic coming into tonight. Team Chazoo have upped the championship, 567 points to their name. Novus in second on 489, ET8 in third on 474. And whereas, Jota, the championship might all be done with for first position, Novus and ET8 are going to be really interesting. 15 points separate them. We are going to now have a look at my graphic that I've produced just to put into perspective of what everything is like with the head-to-head battle between them both. NVR seemingly are the better team coming into tonight, but they're only separated by 15 points.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? The stats say that that they are the favourites in this sort of battle for second, but the bottom line is that the gap of 15 points is minuscule considering the amount of points that you get for a 1-2 around a race in Online Racing's Legacy Division. So it's all about making sure that the drivers maximise the points haul to the maximum of their ability. And of course, I think fielding Kai and Liam tonight, NVR will be fielding the top dollar to try and get that second place over the line. But ET8, of course, themselves fielding Azim and Matteo tonight, so they're pushing to the maximum of their abilities as well.
Yeah, and we know how good Matteo is, obviously PSL, PSF1 champion season 36. Azim, who's been a real shining light, I've got to say, for ET8 in World this season. The Turk really looking to try and provide a very good result out on track, of course, coming into tonight. And speaking of coming into tonight, let's get on board then with the track in question here in Austria. We are now live out on track, and everyone, as I mentioned there in the chat, is on a set of intermediate compound tyres. Allison out on top, currently from Cameron Dowd second, Ryan there in third. Take every single lap time that you see currently, though, with a pinch of salt, as it looks like the Mercedes are trying to have a bit of a race going into the pit lane. Definitely not the best idea from Team Chazoo's perspective, but Cameron Dowds, of course, feeling with Tom. Tom very good around this track. Will be interesting to see how Team Chazoo get on. But Allison out on top, Cameron Dowds second, Ryan there in third. We are down to we are only on 19 drivers here tonight because WOR are not fielding 2 drivers. They're only fielding the one, and it's George Ansel that they are fielding here tonight. Jerome not available, sadly, so WOR are down at the bottom, at the power pits, is what we like to say up here in the north.
Yeah, George Ansel actually leaving WR at the end of this season as well, as far as I'm aware. So obviously George is going to be doing his best to sign off WOR with the best of their ability for certain. Keeping an eye out on what's happening towards the front as well. Just keeping an eye out on Kai Pearson just entering into the pit lane as well. He's fielding his Max Verstappen helmet this time around, which should be a testament to what we're going to be expecting from Novus Racing tonight, as well as ET8, who are both in the pit lane, getting themselves ready for a full run in Q1. But as it stands so far, fastest driver out there at the moment is TTM, with themselves actually really setting themselves up for F124, announcing they've got their PlayStation side now set up. So they're in for some big eyes, I think, going into the next game cycle. So they're going to want to set this one off with a high precedent.
And you can tell probably who's the most excited out of us two in the commentary box with that news as well. Of course, being me, because I get to commentate on TTM moving forward in PlayStation team events. Hopefully, it's going to be really good. I know they've been scouting maybe the likes of Flopman potentially. I've heard potentially could be getting scouted on their team. So TTM really do mean business. And if it's anything to go by, you really bigged them up as a big shot at the start of the season here in World. But they are a really good team, and that was proven with a second and third finish last week in Britain.
Yeah, no, they've got a really exciting lineup actually. Have the likes of TTM going into the PlayStation field, fielding with Enzo Tabani. They've got Baki in their Skyline. They've got Andrew as well. Andrew Burry, I think, is as well. We've got Dark. They've got Harrison Holmes as well. So plenty of drivers out there as well. Even Snipes, I didn't even see that one as well, actually. So that's going to be a really fun time, actually, as they develop the squad going into the new game cycle. And it looks like Christian Clausen's actually going to be the manager for the team alongside Snipes. So, TTM are on their way here to really developing something here. They're cooking something up. For the console side of it. So we'll see what they field going into the next game cycle. Of course, if they end up qualifying for World in the next season, we're in a position where they could field teams from both Xbox and PlayStation potentially. So they're going to be, I'm going to stick at it saying that they are definitely going to be continuing ones to watch. And I think they're definitely going to be ones to watch towards the end of this cycle as well. Because, of course, Allison racing alongside Martin for this one, the LTRL OG himself. Is racing for TTM, so they're wanting to sign off with a high. Rayen racing for EPL as well, so they are wanting to end on a high as well. So all the drivers, looks like all the teams are trying to field the best drivers out there to really sign off this game cycle.
Definitely so, and actually that announcement was made just as we come in live, so that is brand new news to me. I knew they were scouting Flopman, and they have scouted Flopman because he's in their team. Baki, of course, F1 Esports Challengers man, who got benched, of course, in F1 Esports Challengers. Flopman, of course, we've seen here in F7R. Skyline, very, very good driver, formerly of TF10, I believe. Andrew as well, formerly of VIR. Dark, Harrison Holmes, as you mentioned, former WOR driver Snipes, and former Shazoo man TTM Sasha, as he's now known as well. So it should be really interesting to see, I think, how they get out on track. I am very much looking forward to seeing them out on track. They're only here, hopefully, in WOR Legacy Division, but also in other team events on PlayStation as well. As it looks like we have now got a little bit of action out on track, so we can at least not waffle on for as much longer as possible. But Allison out on top, coming down second, Ryan there in third. Ito Azem is one of the first out on track, along with the other Mercedes man, of course, of the man of the moment in Cameron Dowd. And Cameron Dowd, of course, a three-time consecutive winner in WR Console Tier 1 this season. I mean, he doesn't really need much introduction, bar the 18.5-second win that he had in Portugal.
Cameron Dowd's going to want to watch in a later time as well. If he switches, as and when he switches over to PC, he's going to be a developing driver. I think certainly that's going to be one to watch heading into the esports scene. So keep an eye out on what Cameron Dowd does throughout the next couple of months, I would suspect, and see where he goes for F1 24. So. The long story short, though, is that out there, all of these drivers are very keen to sort of set a precedent now, get themselves out there to finalise the season with a high, and I think there's definitely something out there at the moment. I'm hoping for the likes of the L-Plan Racing team with Rayen and Bell Belby. They'll be open to really sign off quite well. Igor Jelen and Mikilla for CPI as well. Surprised that they haven't fielded Gatkowski actually tonight, CPI, but nonetheless the two drivers are incredibly quick actually, so they're going to be ones to watch for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what they've got coming up in the next game cycle for sure. But Cameron Dowd setting the first lap time though, I believe, alongside Azim.
Yep, out of Lauder, up the hill now in towards turn number 3 at Remus. His first second should be around a 15.9. 15.979. 5/10 up obviously on his lap time. He was on a set of inters before this. Now on the run down in towards turn number 4 and open up the second DRS on. Third one being, of course, down the stop from the stride down in towards Schlossgold here at turn number 4. And be really, I think, interesting to see how Cameron Dowd gets on. Already got an illegal blocking penalty. Thanks, Keki, for that one. World Online restart definitely living up to its name. Cameron Dowd now coming through the Pirelli curve into the left-hander of turn number 6, and then into the Vert curve at turn 7 and 8, and a 44.2 in the middle sector. Not looking bad at all. He now comes through the right-hander of turn number 8, on the run up the hill, in towards turn number 9 at what I like to describe as the Red Bull Mobile curve. But it's not, because that's turn number 10, as it is the Red Bull Mobile curve at turn number 10. Coming through on the run to the line with Cameron Dowd, and he sets a 103.2 to start off the night in the proper lap times. Not bad lap.
Oh, not bad lap time from Azem either. Only a couple of tenths down on Cameron Dowd as well. Of course, Shazoo will be looking to just sign it off really with a win themselves, of course, but they've already sort of managed to get the championship, so they've got nothing to lose in this one here, but they're still taking a 1-2 and they're hugging each other as well. Our Tom and Cameron Dow's really, really quick indeed. So McKiller coming across the line, 104.3 down the order, especially from his teammate Igor Jelen, nearly a second faster on his teammates. So plenty of time to find out there at the moment. As I'm just keeping an eye out on the lap times coming in from NLR as well. I think we've got our Matteo coming across the line, 103.4 of his own as well. So 4 drivers in the 103.4s actually. So that just shows a testament to the lap times here. Every 10th, every 100th, every 1000th of a second will count. Keke comes across the line at 103.5, but Ryan will come across the line himself and tuck in just behind with a 103.5 of his own.
Yeah, definitely. So, sorry about flicking through all of these guys. I'm just not sure who's on the lap time right now. Liam Bowman is. He's coming through the final couple of corners along with Ty Pearson. And behind, Cameron Dowd's retired from the session. Liam Bowman toward the line. 7th position from him. Kai Pearson now on the run to the line. And he goes into 4th. So, not a bad run there at all. TRL Martin just starting up on his lap time as well. The former AOR Season 10 champion back in the day as well. Cameron Dowd's though out on top. Tom in 2nd. George Ansell there in 3rd. Wow. Very, very interesting name to see up in the top 3.
Yeah, trying to sign off his WOR esports career in style for short. And TRL Martin losing the rear ever so slightly, going through 4th. So perhaps a little bit of a rusty lap coming in from the OG of racing here as he comes through, then turns 5 into 6, chucking the car again through the left-hander. But the understeer in that Williams is quite prominent. He's not going to find the most amount of pace here, but he'll be hoping to try and beat his teammate. Himself actually just coming around turn 5 through the final couple of right-handers then for Martin as he tries to set a lap time that will get him out of Q1. Needs to be 15th and higher, 16th and high, 15th and higher, remember, if he wants to qualify, but he only goes 16th. So Martin not really finding the pace out there in that Williams. Allison looking to improve last couple of corners for him.
Yep, Allison now coming in towards turn number 9 and then in towards the Red Bull Mobile Curve at turn number 10. Cameron Dowd's Tom. George Ansell coming to the top 3. Allison very neatly done, coming through the final corner on the run to line. 15th. 103.611, and that Nepenthes meme I think is going to come to people's mind with how I said that, but Allison there in 15th behind Lou, who's a very interesting name as well, obviously for BRT. BRT have had a very good result with crowding recently as well, but Cameron Dowd's out on top, Tom in 2nd, George in 3rd. Honestly, I wouldn't have expected that top 3. I would have expected Cameron Dowd and Tom, don't get me wrong, to be up there, but George Ansell in 3rd, WOR Esports, definitely wanted to put all of their weight behind one driver tonight. They got rid of Jerome out the lineup. Not sure if Jerome was making it or not. They've got rid of him, and now they're focusing their sole attention on George Ansell, and that is going to be a stroke of genius if he gets through into Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, WR Esports will be so happy to have George Ansell signing off his career, as I said, with the team with a pace that actually puts him within touching distance of the teams that are trying to fight out for 2nd place in the championship. So that will be one for other teams to watch going into the next game cycle. If George has got the pace around here, where else could he potentially develop for certain, especially when a man of George Ansell's caliber actually looking to try and push for WR Tier 2 next season. Is his actual legitimately one of his goals, so certainly going to be one to watch.
Yep, and also Triple Beam as well in the chat saying George Ansell's got a GCSE tomorrow. This is mad impressive, props to him. Really good going, I've got to say. I've got to be honest. For anybody that is doing their GCSEs at A-levels right now, I know Joe mentioned he's doing his A-levels as well there in the chat. Anybody that's going through that, I was there 10 years ago. That, A, makes me feel very old, and B, I know how it feels, is what I'm trying to say. And I know the hard work, determination that gets put in. Hopefully, the grades come out of it at the different end. But honestly, in my experience, you don't really need grades to get where you are. As long as you've got a good personality, as long as you've got a good sense of where you want to be within 5, 10, 15 years, you will make it, no matter what happens. And no matter if the results are not there, they will come back to bite you, but in the most positive way, because honestly, employers, I think, go for people that are more workable and more approachable rather than anything else these days.
11 years to go for me for my GCSEs, just a reminder of how old I am as well on this one. But Ray N himself then just coming across the final couple of corners. He's going to get himself going here. You've got Jelen retiring. He's happy with the 103.457, but there's plenty of drivers on a 103.4 at the moment, a 103.5. So you could see him just be a little bit wary, be looking over his shoulder, I think, to be honest with you. Ray N just getting going, though, as he starts his lap now, looking to try and get out of the bottom 4, sorry. in order to qualify. Of course, Allison just tucking in and is in the danger zone in 15th place. His teammate Martin well down the pace considering his experience in the F1 esports world, down in 17th. But Ryan, what a season he's had though, to be fair, hasn't he? EPL have been really positive and been thinking really positively with a man of his caliber, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what he's got coming up in the next game cycle. But on this particular lap, going purple in the first sector as he's just trying to avoid all the traffic, going through into turn 4 and chucking the car through the right hand there, willing to take a little bit of a lock up on the rear, knowing that the car is just going to turn. It's so pointed, is that Haas?
It is indeed. Coming through now the left-handed turn number 6. He looked like he got very much out wide coming through turn number 4. Saved that in the middle sector. 44.2 though was very good in that middle sector split. So Ryan now coming up the hill in towards turn number 9. Jensen there in the chat saying let's go 1-2 zoo. Not sure if that works, to be honest, but Ryan now coming through turn number 9 in toward the right-hander at turn number 10 at the Red Bull Mobile curve on the run toward the line. Will Ryan come 103.3? Oh, 103.4. Not bad lap. Wow. He goes 4th.
Another 103.4 on the blocks as well, and put some 0.02 of a second down on George Ansell and 0.02 of a second up on Kai Pearson, who himself is just getting himself going for a lap at the moment. Plenty of people out on laps at the moment, though. I think the next person to be setting a lap actually will be Keke as he comes across the line and only goes ninth fastest. We should be okay, but another 103.4 across the line. And then we've got BRT, I believe it is, crowding coming across the line to start his lap. 104.689, though. He's well down the pace and he's invalidated immediately at turn 1.
He has indeed. Keke coming towards the line. Matteo there coming towards the line as well. I think he was just starting up in his lap. Danny Parodi is on a lap time. 44.3 in the middle sector is the former PSGL PC F3 man on the run up the hill now, and towards turn number 9 is the man from TF10. That other driver, of course, TF10 2D's already retired. Is he safe enough, though, was what's going through my mind there in 8th position. Daniela Parodi on the run toward the line, goes 3rd, and that's more like it. 103.3. We should be seeing 103.1s, 103.2s coming in, I think, towards the back end of the session here. Rayen there coming to the line, invalidated his lap time, as you mentioned. Keke is down. Liam Bowman, a 10th up, though, through the first sector. You've just caught something?
Yeah, Kai Pearson's invalidated his lap. He's not comfortable at all at the moment. The car just would not turn. Liam Bowman also on a lap. He's a 10th and a half up, as you rightfully point out. Going through the left-hander, going purple in the second sector, though. 3.5 tenths. So looking to try and beat Cameron Dowds on this occasion. Remember, of course, their battle is not with Shizou. Shizou have taken the title. It's actually with ET8 at the moment. And Matteo's actually on the brink, potentially being knocked out here. Unless he comes across the line and improves, and he does. 10th fastest. All Liam Bowman having a shocking final corner, though, comes across the line and only goes 3rd fastest, and that is a testament to the issues of that final corner. When you make one mistake and you could find yourself on the 2nd row of the grid, Liam.
Ryan won't be improving. Killer NL's not improving either. I don't think anybody's improving. In fact, I think that is the end of qualifying already, and I wouldn't have expected that because drivers were on lap times. Ryan's backed off his lap. Obviously, they must have been told Killer NL had backed off his lap, and therefore you shouldn't go for another run. You are safe. So the 4 that is out in Q1, and a bit of a shock for BRT, to be honest. Lou and Crowding both out. TRL Martin, the big name, I think, that is out in that session, along with Killer NL. Killer NL, of course, filling in for Gatkowski here tonight. I think Frankus was due in their lineup as well. So him filling in very late comes to show 18th position for CPI, and they're in a battle further down the field in terms of the standings as well. But it's Cameron Dowds out on top, Tom in 2nd, Liam Bowman in 3rd. Dare I say normal service has resumed in WOR at World Online Racing?
Maybe potentially. TRL Martin, though, 103.608 is what he had on his invalidated lap. So he actually matched BRT Lou, but still wouldn't have actually qualified if the lap actually stood. So that's just an unfortunate nature to be TRL Martin just not finding any comfort at all in that Williams. So he's knocked out. Belby just sneaking through. Both of the NLR boys just sneaking through as well. But the shock for me, more than anything, is ET8. Matteo and Azim are a little bit down the order, and they need to find a little bit of pace going through into the next round of qualifying. But there's a lot of drivers in that 103.4 bracket.
And I know from experience, you're saying there about ET8, Matteo is not strong around this track, so that's why you're seeing him further down the field in Q1. Don't read into it too much. It is Q1 at the end of the day, but it is Cameron Dowd on top from Tom there in 2nd. A Shizou 1-2 with Liam Bowman there in 3rd. Allison there in 4th. Daniel Parodi, who's strong around this track there in 5th. Big shot for me, George Ansell, 6th position, really cooking in that first session. Ryan there in 7th, with Kai Pearson there in 8th, WOR Until Tier 1 champion, Azem there in 9th, and Igor Jelen rounding off the top 10. Then it's Matteo, Tudi, Keke, Ryan, and Belby top 15. Keke does have that 5-place grid penalty. I think he does qualify, though, into Q2 regardless. Lou, Martin, TRL Martin, Killer NL, and crowding the 4 drivers out in Q1. But it is Cameron Dare down on top, Tom there in second, Liam Bowman there in third. Let's have a gander again in terms of the standings coming into start. And not only did we see that graphic earlier on, which I will bring up when we have our intermission, between that battle for second between Novus and ETA. Currently Novus seemingly topping that. But also we've got battles further down the field. TF10, NLR, TTM, all in a battle for fifth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where the competition is going to really heat up as well, because, of course, some of those positions, of course, are auto qualifiers as well. So plenty of drivers wanted to really sort of dig their heels in and potentially get in that realm of possibility. So let's see what they've got in the bucket for Q2, as I believe the drivers are getting themselves ready now for another round of qualifying. But immediately suggesting in Q1 that all the drivers are in such close proximity to each other, every thousandth of a second is going to count. And I do genuinely think thousandths of a second may separate pole position from the second place man.
Sorry, I thought we had a car stuck in the pit lane there coming out. Just so I think it was one of the Aston Martins coming out. He just got held up, I think. Might have been Matteo potentially coming out the pit lane. Oh, it was Azem even coming out the pit lane. Just Aston Martin to stop fully in the middle of the pit lane. I was thinking, oh, well, hopefully we're not going to get a restart in qualifying for Q2. But we're not. He's out of the pit lane. We're all good. Everyone now is going to transition onto a set of soft compound tyres. And you'd imagine, Jota, obviously with this being Q1, Q2, Q3, more impetus is on the soft compound tyre, and probably in this session more than anything on a set of used set of soft compound tyre.
Yeah, this part of the session definitely going to be a used set of softs at the moment. I should imagine the majority of the teams will have definitely set the softer compound of tyres for their set of tyres that they want for the full race weekend. So no doubt that everyone will be on a used set of soft tyres. So we're not going to expect blisteringly quick lap times, but I do expect there to be a pretty close proximity again between the drivers despite that. So let's see what the drivers have got in the bucket. First person to set a lap time will be one of the NVR boys. I believe it will be Kai Pearson, who just wants to get on with it.
He definitely does, and I don't blame him, to be honest. Did he win around here in WO Console Tier 1? I think he did, if I'm not mistaken. Coming now through the final corner at turn number 10 on the run up the line in towards turn number 1. We'll see what the WO Console Tier 1 champion is made of. Has he got made of steel? Or has he got to fall by the wayside on this lap? Let's have a look. Kai Pearson through turn number 1, now up the hill in towards the king of turn number 2. MotoGP out there on the left-hand side there, in towards turn number 3. And the 16th lap already tells me he is off in that first sector, which means he's going to set a used set of soft compound of tyre. And then down the hill through turn number 3 at Remus, on the run now down in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. Schlossgold being my favourite corner, not only to pronounce, but my favourite corner on this track. Now coming in towards the right-hander of turn number 4, famously where Hamilton and Albon had that incident back in 2020. Kai Pearson now coming in toward the Pirelli curve at turn number 6, and then in toward the chicane of turns 7 and 8. And Kai Pearson, 44.5, definitely on a used set of softs. You can tell by the graining through the middle of the right compound tyre on the right-hand side. Now the run up the hill in towards turns 9 and 10. Could get a little bit of a blocking going on there through turn 9. Now through turn number 10, Kai Pearson's absolutely on it, but he's not on it because he invalidates coming out of turn number 9. Also makes a mistake by coming through turn number 9.
Yeah, he's not comfortable out there at the moment, is Kai. This is something that we saw at the end of Q1 as well, so I'm not sure if he finds the cars a little bit snappy on the rear, so he's just not finding comfort out there, and that's the last thing that you need as a driver, especially this part of the season when you need all the confidence in the world. If you don't feel confident in the car underneath you, you're going to find yourself to be really struggling in the race, and NVR, as I said, don't need that with that close 15-point gap to ET8, especially now they've got one in close proximity in third, but Chudy going across the line now to take second off of Azim at the AN with a 103.8, but again, definitely a used set of soft. Cameron Dowd's also on a lap as well. Not the fastest second sector of anyone so far. Liam Bowman still has that, but going through the final couple of corners now for Cameron Dowd's team. Zizou looking to try and continue on with their form and see if they can take a potential lead, but at the moment, another 103.4 going third.
103.499 to be exact as well, and that is, what, 600th of a second off Liam Bowman, so it is quite close in the top 3 in that proximity. Tom, though, an Austrian specialist, 16.7 in the first sector. Matteo, invalid on a lap time. George Ansel on the run to line. He definitely looks good around this track, George. They're into 4th position. WOR Esports putting all of their weight behind one driver. Jerome not making it here tonight, but it does mean the team can put their weight into one driver. And that is telling, because this is a different George Ansel to what we saw when he made his debut here in WOR Esports, in WOR Esports' first ever race in World this season.
Oh, I'm just having a quick look on Matteo there. I don't know what happened between him there, but he just started weaving left and right all of a sudden on the straight. And he just all of a sudden just snapped and straight into the gravel. So he's lucky to even still be in qualifying here. I don't know if he was just joking around with the steering wheel or if he has a kind of a failure or something with the steering wheel, but he just weaved left and right for no reason and then spun into the gravel trap on a straight. So very peculiar set of events. If that is a hardware issue, then they need to look into that ASAP because they don't need Matteo with a hardware failure now at this part of the season.
Really strange. I mean, it is probably best that you have it at this part of the season, to be honest, because this is his final race on the game cycle. I absolutely guarantee that. And Matteo, they're down in 14th. Bit of a shock, and as you mentioned there, we saw, I think he was just getting purely out the way on the inside curb, coming through turn number 9. He didn't run out of fuel or anything, so obviously, bit of strife going on there for Issei, bit of strife going on for Tom currently. Allison back in the pit lane as well. Liam Bowman them out on top, TFN 2D there in second, Cameron Dowds there in third. Looking at some of your comments that are coming through, by the way, T-Rail Martin saying, I'm awful around here, praying for carnage. Which is what I would be like, to be honest, if I was rating being the 20th man out on track here tonight. But luckily, I'm not privileged to be in as quick as these guys out on track. And he's also saying, it would be iconic if I did. So there we are. Thoughts there from T-Rail Martin for TTM right down at the bottom end of the field. But it is Liam Bowman out on top, 2D in second, Cameron Dowds there in third. Hopefully, everything is going to go according to plan, and hopefully we get a good qualifying session in the second half of Q2.
I'm just keeping a very firm eye on the situation as regards to the points tally as well. I'm actually, as you speak right now, James, building another calculator to try and get an understanding of where the current situation will be between Novus and ET8 by the end of the game, end of this race and the end of this championship. So I'll continue trying to rack my brains while I've got one eye looking at my screen at the moment, as everyone now just getting themselves ready on outlaps. I'm curious to see actually what the race is going to be like, you know, between ET8 and Novus tonight, because, you know, the dynamic of this season is this race has changed from the end of the last race to now, because at the end of the last race, Novus was still in a shout of winning the title, but obviously the penalty being applied meant that Shazoo have now taken the title. So is Novus going to apply the same kind of pressure to ET8 as they would have done with Shazoo, or are they going to take a more calmer approach knowing that they're the leading team?
Oh, for sure. I think NVR, judging by their lineup, Kai Pearce and Liam Bowman, you wouldn't put that lineup in if you didn't mean business. And to be honest, they do mean business. I mean, Liam Bowman's there in first. Kai Pearson obviously hasn't set a lap time right now. But MVR look very good in Q1. All looking really good, I think, and pointing towards that experience that they've got. And experience around this track absolutely comes in strife. Where you've got Matteo and Azem. We referenced that pairing in the past, Azem not being as particularly experienced as compared to Matteo. That didn't seem to stop him, though, in the races that we have seen him in WR Legacy Division. So it is going to be an interesting dynamic, I think, coming through into the night, as 2D is just starting up on his lap down in towards turn number 1. And the question there in the chat, I think Dirk's already answered it. Daniele Parodi is 15, and he was born in 2008.
Oh, God, really? Another point to make us feel old. I just don't like this anymore, honestly. I want to go home. Like, this is just ridiculous, honestly. Some of the driving, you know, it's amazing to see, obviously, young talent coming through, but my God, doesn't it make us feel old with every passing game cycle, to say the least. So, drivers get themselves ready on laps now as we obviously start to age further and further with each passing lap. Igor Jelen, 5-place grid penalty for legal blocking. Of course, World Online restarts will continue at the end of this particular qualifying session, to say the least. I think CPI coming across the line to get going with their lap as well through Igor Jelen. But lap time still needs to be coming in, and I'm keeping an eye out on Kai Pearson at the moment. Again, he's really overdriving the car because he's just trying to chuck the car through and find as much time as he can, but the car just looks a little bit uneasy, doesn't it? Going through he's really pushing to the limit as well.
He is indeed, and 2D was over pushing the limit there on his lap. He invalidated coming through turn number 9. Here is Kai Pearson on the run to the line. Belby now going quickest. I don't think that'll last long because we've got Kai Pearson coming in. Definitely didn't last long because Liam Bowman was ahead of him. 103.2. Kai Pearson now on the run to the line. 103.1. Big lap time there from MVR. Kai Pearson out on top. Liam Bowman there in second. We've got Tom coming through the final couple of corners. 44.2 in and around that playbook, but he invalidates coming out of turn number 9. Mateo as well is on a lap time coming up the hill in towards turn number 9. It is Kai Pearson out on top. Liam Bowman second as M there in third. 6 minutes ago, still in qualifying 2, as now Mateo comes through the final corner. PSF one man invalidates coming through the final corner, and that would have been a 103.7 for Mateo, and that would have only put him 10th.
Yeah, he's really not comfortable out there at the moment. The car is understeering actually through the third sector, so that's why the majority of the time is just disappearing. So I think Matteo needs to get back in the pits quickly, new set of boots, and just get on with it now, just straight in, straight out, because he is in a lot of trouble here, and this is the last thing. And would you believe that ET8's sort of pressure at the moment is all lasted? Oh wow, George Alson coming across the line to separate the two Novus boys, but Allison coming across the line to go even faster as well. So TTM and WOR Esports actually putting some good pressure at the moment on Novus. And again, this is a race where Novus don't want to drop points, really, do they? They want to try and get that sort of second place all scrapped up and taken out of the hands of ET8. And at the moment, ET8 with Azim looking reasonably okay, actually, in fifth, just tucked in behind Liam Bowman, but Matteo is so off the pace at the moment.
He is so off the pace, and I've referenced this in other commentaries as well, not only here in WO, but also in PSGL, where I've seen him more. It looks like, though, he's going to go again, is he? No, he's not. He's coming back in the pit lane. I thought he was going to juke me into coming back out on that set of soft compounded tyres to try and go for another run. But yeah, Matteo, this is a different side of Matteo that I think we are seeing here tonight. I know it's the final race here in Legacy Division. Probably one of his final races on the game cycle as well. He is going to be staying on console going on to F1 24. Cameron Dowds, by the way, didn't even know he was on a lap. 103.142, silent killer, I think, on that lap time. Does go quicker than Kaya Pearson, Allison there in third, and George Ansell there in fourth. But back to Matteo, I think he is definitely under pressure. Jensen's mentioned it in the chat. He could be having some issues. Potentially so. It's either he has not fixed whatever hardware issue we think he has got here in the commentary box, or he is just mentally not with it tonight. And it is very strange to see a high caliber name like Matteo, one of the future stars here on console, struggling in Q2 in Legacy Division. And I don't care if it's the first race of the season or the final race of the season. You've got to be on at every step of the way. And for each state in a championship battle, game changing for MVR, because they are the ones looking like they've got the advantage.
Yeah, and of course, remember, this is the team that had actually got the better stats going into this race as well. So Novus are just sort of epitomising exactly what their season's really been about, to be fair. The pressure's been there at the front, just missing out, though, at the end. And I think that slight gap between Kai Pearson and Liam Bowman, I think, really emphasises what may have been the slight miss, you think, in this championship win for them. But Team Shazoo leading from the front as always, but it is a Shazoo sandwich at the moment with Tom not setting a lap time. He'll be starting in 15th as it currently stands, but Cameron Dowds leading from the front.
Cameron Dowds indeed leading from the front. Kai Pearson in second. The two old rivals around here in WR console tier 1. Belby looks like he wants to try and jump the gun and go out for a run, and it looks like the Alpine as well of Igor Jelen, I think, is about to leave the pit lane along with other drivers as well. Avatar there in the chat. My final time I've seen Avatar there in the WR Legacy Division chat. Evening to everyone there in the chat. Hope you are all doing well. 96 of you currently tuning in. Let's bump that up over 100. Let's bump that up to around about the 120, 125 mark by the end of Q3. And then we can get, hopefully, the best viewing figures for Legacy Division. It is the season finale at the end of the day. And I know there's no championship battle on for the win. But with the prize pool at play, I think top 5, of course, get that prize pool or a share of that prize pool. It is going to be game-changing for second and third. That battle that we referenced with TF10, TTM and the likes as well. It is all going to come down, really, to points over anything.
Absolutely, I mean, every point will count. And speaking of points as well, good news, my calculator's now all built, so we've now got all that ready and waiting if we want to try and get a full title of what the final standards will look like as it happens throughout the races. But plenty of people getting themselves going. Fresh pair of boots on Matteo's car as well as for Tom, both of them under significant pressure. I'll say maybe less so for Tom, to be fair. Shazoo have got it all wrapped up. Ooh. It's just about whether Matteo can at least get through into the top 10 and keep applying that pressure on Novus, because if he's out of the top 10 in this Q2 session, he's going to find himself to be a real detriment, I think, to ETH's chances of taking second place in this championship.
Interesting. Kai Pearson, by the way, in second, has just sped past everyone coming through that middle sector. He's back in the pits. So, interesting. Has he got enough time to actually go for another run, or is this curtains potentially for his qualifying session? Cameron Dowds on top, Kai Pearson second, Allison in third. I mean, it'll be great that we could see the time that is left in this session. Yellow flags, of course, covering that at the minute. We have got lap times, though, going on at the minute. Belby is coming up first through the first sector. He is out of this qualifying session. So that really means Kai Pearson's got to hope that nobody improves beyond a 103.151 and hope that, 8 drivers basically don't improve. And I think, given how he's in that situation right now, I think it is pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's probably decided he doesn't need to put too much pressure on himself to improve. He knows he's got second, definitely. He probably will be through with a 103.151. But curiously, maybe he was just using some old soft tires to put put more rubber down on the circuit and get it a bit more grippy. Maybe, I'm not sure. Either way, first driver to set a lap time, I believe, will be, if I'm right in saying, I think it will be Tudy for TF10. I think everyone else is on a lap at the moment. In fact, yes, I think that is the case, actually. Belby coming across the line. Yes, he is improving. Straight to fifth with a 103.2 of his own. Then it will be Tudy, who invalidates at the final lap, and that puts TF10 at risk. Igor Jelen immediately coming into the pit lane as well, so he doesn't improve his lap time. He's certainly at risk as well. Next person set a lap time will be Danny Parodi, as I nearly said, Peroni. Going through on the last couple of streams as well. I'm sure people are noting. Going through across the final couple of corners though for Parodi, and goes fifth fastest as well, 103.254.
And in comparison to Liam Bowman's middle sector, Liam Bowman is down in that middle sector as well. So Daniele Parodi found a lot of time in that middle sector compared to him. As Emner goes into fifth position, Matteo is coming through behind Liam Bowman, I think, on a run right now. Liam Bowman now on the run toward the line. Eighth position currently, 103.269. Goes up to third. That's more than enough for him to get through. Matteo is looking much better on the run toward the line. 10th fastest, though. He's in trouble. Tudi's done. Keki now on the run to the line. Doesn't put him out. Does Tom put him out, though? Tom's looking very good in his lap time, and he does put Matteo out. Tom's second. Shazoo 1-2 once again. Tudi is done in terms of his lap time, as my mouse is going completely strange. Give me a second to fix that. Cameron Dowds out on top. Tom in second. Kai Pearson third. Liam Bowman there in fourth. Shazoo 1-2. Novus 3-4. But more importantly, Matteo, along with NLR, out of Q2.
Massive that for ET8 as well. 11th place at one point we considered the second pole position, but it doesn't count anymore with you you don't have to take your choice of Q2 tire through to if you get through to Q3 onto the grid. So, you know, Matteo is in a real spot of bother here now in 11th place, and both of the EPL boys through in 9th and 10th as well. Good effort from Belby and Rayen. Parodi just sneaking through as well. George Ansel in 6th, and Allison up to 5th as well. So massively out-qualifying Martin on this occasion for TTM. But at the moment, it is Shazoo leading from the front, from Novus leading in 3rd and 4th in 2nd place. And I think that is a statement in itself.
It is a statement in itself indeed. And Team Shazoo might have won the championship. They definitely still mean business, though, coming into tonight in Austria. They want as many points as possible coming into tonight. But look at the top three. 9 thousandths of a second separate the top three. Absolute madness out on track. It is Cameron Dowds out on top from Tom in second. Kai Pearson there in third. Liam Bowman fourth, 400th of a second off. And then Allison in fifth on 700th of a second. And a 10th, covering pretty much everyone throughout the field. George Ansel there in sixth. Big up him. To have that pressure of being the sole driver of WOR Esports, and with obviously what's going on that PlayStation side right now, it is really tough. He's leaving the team at the end of this race. George Ansel in sixth, definitely proving why he should be signed, I think, re-signed to WOR Esports with this with that lap time there. As in there in seventh, Danny Parodi there in eighth, and EPL both through, Belby and Rayen, and I think that's the first time EPL have got both their cars through since Miami.
Interested to see how George Ansel performs actually in this race, you know, because he may end up being a little bit of a spot of bother. Remember, this is a driver who hasn't really got anything to lose. The team haven't got anything to lose either. So if he wants to go all out, put pressure on the front, he may end up doing so. And if he's got pace to be within 1/10 of the likes of Kai Pearson, that could make or break the decider between who finishes second in the standings if ETA get their act together. So that could be a one to watch, you know. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing that one. Allison as well, also in that mix. So this is going to be a good Q3 here as well. It's definitely going to be a shootout between Shazoo and Novus, but that midfield is going to be a bit tight and very tightly contested.
Oh, definitely so. And I'm going to come to you guys now in the comment section. Who do you think is getting pole position out on track? I am immediately going to put myself under pressure because I don't really do this, to be honest. Well, I do, but I'm going to put myself under pressure. But for qualifying here in Q3 for pole position, I am going to go, and you're probably not expecting this name, Daz has just mentioned it, Tom for pole.
No, Cameron Dowds. I think Cameron's got it. I mean, we both agree that it's Team Shazoo that'll get pole. Kai Pearson will get close, but I think he'll just miss out. And I think that again is very epitome. It's a very epitome of what Novus' season has been about. Close, but not close enough. So I think Kai will be on it. I still think there'll be thousandths of a second, but I think Cameron Dowd has got this one myself.
Definitely so. Yeah, it is the chat, by the way, not the comment section, as I mentioned earlier on. Cameron Dowd, though, out on top currently. Goodness me. Ryan, Kai Pearson, Bell Belby, Danny Parodi, and Allison all on lap times right now. Unfortunately for Admire there in the chat, I'm guessing the Igor Jelen pole position. Igor Jelen's not partaking in the session, so I'm not sure if that's just bias coming in, I think, from the CPI man there, but you may as well try and have fun. It is the final race of the season, and we're going to go for our first runs in the final session of Legacy Division this season in Q3, and Allison is now starting up on his run down in towards turn number 1. We'll turn the timing tower back on. There we go, through turn number 1 at the louder curve, now running up this kink in towards turn number 2 and 3, up in toward the Styrian mountain range, which makes 73% of all mountains in Austria. Coming down through the middle sector, the first sector, in towards now the right-hander at turn number 3 at the start of the middle sector, and it's not looking too bad through that first sector. Wish I could give you his first sector time, but I didn't have it up. But Allison now on the run down and towards turn number 4, now looking very, very good as he looks to try and set a good lap time coming through Schloss Gold at turn 4.
Yeah, looking fairly sharp with 15.9 in the first sector actually. So definitely going to be a used set of softs, I think, on the Williams at the moment, but looking fairly reasonable actually. Ooh, a little bit close to the curb there as well actually. 44.2 in the second sector. So Allison obviously wanted to put a little bit of pressure maybe for the second row of the grid in this particular qualifying session. Going through the right-hander then. Oh, a lot of curb though. He's going to find himself bottoming out a little bit. Going through the right-hander again to the final corner. Managed to recover maybe a little bit of time through there as he comes across the line right now. 103.4. If that's a used set of softs, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Cameron Dowds, though, 44.1 in that middle sector. Absolutely lightning quick, as is Kai Pearson as well, 44.4. But he's down, he backs off his lap time, he's back in the pit lane. So Kai Pearson definitely not having the rub of the green. Cameron Dowds, though, is. Coming through turn number 9. No, he's not. He invalidates. Coming through turn number 9, took too much of that outside curb, was very greedy on that outside curb, and Cameron Dowd there invalidating Rayen. Looks like he's done 45.1 in the first sector, and in the middle sector not looking too bad. Bell Belby on a run. Daniel Parodi now on the run toward the line. First runs are nearly done. Our drivers now stand up on their lap time, but Danny Parodi goes quickest one on 103.2. George Ansel just starting up on his run. Bell Belby invalidated. It's Daniel Parodi out on top. Allison there in second, and Cameron Dowd there in third, not getting a lap time set.
Yeah, people were finding it comfortable in this first set of Q3 as well. 15.9 in the first sector for George Ansel, by the way, just beating Daniele Parodi by 0.02 of a second, so matching him basically in that first sector. So George Ansel looking reasonably sharp again. I think this will probably be a used set of soft tires. Going through the right-hander then, and he is taking a lot of curb. He's very confident, isn't he, George Ansel, here tonight? And I'm looking forward to see how Ansel actually performs throughout this race as well. As I said, I think he's going to apply some pressure towards the front runners, perhaps, as he, which is, you know, one to certainly, you know, froth at the mouth at for a midfield team as is WOR Esports. Going through the final couple of corners then for George Ansel, looking to try and get somewhere in the region of the 103.4s if he can help it. Going through the right-hander, going through the next right-hander, the final right-hander before coming across the line with the DRS open, and the ERS burnt out to the absolute maximum, and he does get a 103.3.
Yeah, not a bad left time at all there from him. 15.9 through the first sector for Shazoo Tom. He's purple in the first sector, according to my screen at least as well. Liam Bowman just starting up and run. Azem just starting up on his run there as well. And in fact, I think Azem is furthest on his run right now. 15.9 through the first sector, 44.3 in the middle. So he is quicker than George Ansel. Could potentially be quicker than Daniela Parodi through that middle sector as well. So Azem now, the Turk coming up the hill in towards turn number 9 and 10. Through the final couple of corners, he will come in this Aston Martin. Now flings it through turn number 10 at the Red Bull Mobile curb. Nearly too aggressive on that outside curb, but on the run line. Doesn't go quickest though. I thought he was going to go quickest. Tom Tom makes a mistake.
Shazoo Tom, I'm so sorry. No, Shazoo Tom didn't actually make any mistake at all. He hit the glitched bump in the middle of the track. He just ended up glossing over. He took the corner absolutely fine, and then his car hit an imaginary curb or something, jumped in the air, bottomed out, and that's his lap over and done with. You know what? Feel really unfortunate for Tom. George Ansel beat him in the first sector, but his second and third sectors, the second sector especially, was looking fairly sharp, but his third sector completely ruined by that imaginary bump in the middle of the track.
And it's interesting because Liam Bowman just came across the line with a 103.5. What on earth is going on in this qualifying session? Daniel Parodi out on top, Azem there in second, George Ansel there in third, Kai Pearson now just starting up on his lap time. He's about to shut me up, I think, with this lap time potentially coming through the right-hand of turn of 1 at the louder curve. Down in the Parodi, there was George Ansel currently in the top 3. Not the top 3 I was expecting, to be honest, at this stage of qualifying. Kai Pearson through the first sector, 15.933, not looking too bad as of now, and boxed down towards Schlossball at turn 4. But again, Kai Pearson, that rear end just stepping out, and that's cost him time all the way down the hill.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is where he's losing all of his time, isn't it? Because he's ended up braking. He brakes into the corner, goes in normally, his car snaps, and because he's going onto a straight, whenever he loses the rear end, he just loses the time all the way down the straight, and it's just so much time lost as a result, going through the left-hander and then the next one, and he tries to keep the car planted if he can, go over the curb here, and he's invalidated because he's understeering. So Kai, again, the drivers are just not finding it comfortable out there, and I'm not sure what's happening on circuit. We've had a glitched corner, and then on top of that, it just seems like no one can find any grip on the front at the moment.
Yeah, Kai Pearson on the run toward the line, 103.368, so he would have went 4th with that lap time. Does set a bit of a bar for him going forward, but it's really interesting. Ray ends up in the middle sector, 44.4, but he's nowhere near down there Parodi's middle sector whatsoever. As George Ansel is going to be his nearest target, I think. Ray now coming through the final couple of corners. Oh my god, nearly spins. Coming through the final corner at turn number 10, comes to the line, 103.601. Cameron Dowd's now on a run, 15.9 through the first sector. Let's see if Cameron Dowd's can get a run in. Your man for pole position, Gotter. Now coming to the right-hander at turn number 5, into the left-hander now at turn number 6 at the Pirelli curve. And it looks okay coming through that. Oh, 44 flat in the middle sector. He's on it.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment. Allison comes across the line with a 103.0, but we could be seeing 102.9s here if Cameron Dowds wants to keep that pressure on. Going through the final couple of corners, then keeps the car planted. Very well taken at the final corner, actually, from Cameron Dowds. Is it going to be 102.9 now? Well, they don't make it even better. It's a 102.8 cracking lap from Cameron Dowds and Team Shizou.
Never discount Flying Scotsman 2.0. That's what I've now learned, I think, in this qualifying session so far. Cameron Dowd's out on top, Allison there in second, Daniele Parodi there in third. We have got the lifetime still yet to be set, really, from Tom, who did set a 106.2, but that is not representative, as we mentioned there, on his lap time. Carl Pearson and Bell Belby down at the bottom end of the field as well. And Bell Belby, speaking of which, he can come out of absolute nowhere in these qualifying sessions sometimes. Is he going to be a man to potentially watch out for when it comes down to essentially a one-shot qualifying session to the line? Bell Belby there in 10th, looking pretty good, but he needs to get a run on the board, and he needs to get a consistent run on the board as well.
Yeah, I mean, he loves the pressure, though, does Bell Belby, and you're right. I think every time that we've seen him under a little bit of pressure, he's always come out on top, hasn't he? So, going to be one to watch for certain. But as it stands so far, ET8 are being handed a lifeline with Liam Bowman down in 6th. Kai Pearson down in 9th without a lap time on the board here, and both of the drivers really not finding it comfortable. Suggests to me, anyway, that the drivers are certainly not finding a lot of comfort out there, and I think the drivers are going to do the best that they can, but at the moment, it just seems to me that it's a little bit topsy-turvy. Cameron Dowd's at the front for certain, but Allison in second, Parodi in third, and then Azim in fourth. Georgia Ansel separating Azim from the Novus guys, 6th and 9th respectively. Rayan and Tom splitting the two Novus guys themselves. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just ETA to being handed a lifeline in qualifying here, when Novus could actually pretty much wrap up second place in qualifying if they just lead it towards the front. But at the moment, they're both struggling.
Definitely so. I'm just going to try and get a little bit of reaction to what is going on, potentially. Drivers are saying that they may want a restart. Nothing really going on in the paddock chat. There's not really drivers complaining about their game or anything whatsoever. So Avatar there in the chat mentioned about that. No real mention, I've got to say, within Discord right now, any issues that are going on. So Cameron Dowd's lagging a little bit. So hopefully that is just him and on his side rather than on my side. But he is out on top. Allison there in second. Daniele Parodi there in third. Drivers are definitely having issue with one thing or another. I think they're having more issue, though, with, as you mentioned, that glitch corner through turn number 9. But also, they just can't seem to get a lap in. And it's really rare, even on the final race of the season. We talked about qualifying throughout the season here in Lakeside Division. And I think, honestly, this is one of the most wilder qualifying sessions where you don't really know who's going to get pole position and you don't really know what the hell's going on. And we're in the commentary box.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? I think that's what makes this season and makes this championship so enthralling, to be honest with you, because the drivers just go out on a limb to try and find every little bit of pace that they can find. But difference between each individual driver is so minuscule, despite the teams being so differently ran. So it's just going to make for an absolutely fascinating set of future seasons, but this season especially has been so hotly contested, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing who's going to be on for pole, as now we are in for our final runs and we're going to determine who's on pole.
We are indeed. Daniele Parodi, the Italian PSL PCF3 champion, on the run up the hill in towards now the right-hander of turn number 1 at the Lauda curve, named of course famously after Niki Lauda. Comes through the right-hander at turn number 1. Very much unstable, I've got to say. Coming through turn number 1 there. Not sure if he is lagging on my end or if it's just OBS packing up a little bit, but he is through the first sector. 15.967, some glaring in the eyes of the driver there through turn number 3 at Remus, and now on the run down towards turn number 4 at Schlossgall. It is Cameron Dowds, Allison, Daniela Parodi, the top 3, Kai Pearson, Bell Belby setting up on the lap time right now. Car Park coming through turn number 9 as well right now, but Daniela Parodi not going to face any traffic, gets really snappy coming through turn number 4, but he's not looking too bad in this run, but I wouldn't say he's looking that quick.
Yeah, I mean, he's not looking particularly quick, and down a tenth and a half, actually, in the second sector. So he's not finding any confidence out there at the moment. I'm just keeping a firm eye on the other drivers behind, actually. I'll be honest with you. Looking at Kai Pearson, Liam Bowman actually up, but only up by 38 thousandths of a second in the first sector. So not finding any confidence out there. Kai Pearson, then, is he going to be able to come across the line and set something that is going to put Novus at the front? It's a second place and 102.9, exactly what they needed. Will Liam Bowman be able to improve as well and allow and then really pull at the heartstrings of the ET8 boys? Comes across the line, makes it a 2-3 for Team Novus Racing. Team Shazoo will be hoping to get a 1-2 though, but Shatoma's invalidated, so Cameron Dowd still on pole as it stands.
Azem there going by a tenth of a second up. George Ansel's improving 700th. If you're Cameron Dowd, I think you can go and collect your money right now. It is Cameron Dowd. I think that's going to be out on top. I don't think George Ansel, unless he's got a ridiculous final sector in his locker. Oh, well, there you go. Cameron Dowd just settles it. 102.8, and George Ansel then validates. Coming through the final corner, turn number 10. 103.314 that would have been. Not sure where that would have put him. But in the end, yeah, never discount Cameron Dowd. I think it's not the first time on this game cycle that I haven't put him for P1. Certainly not the last time either. But it is Cameron Dowd on top. It is Kai Pearson in second. Liam Bowman there in third. So it is Shazoo 1, NVR 2, 3. And then you've got ET8 with only one driver, of course, in Q3 and Azem. They're in 5th position. Definitely looking good in the MVR shape. Allison, of course, splitting that pairing by 5,000 of a second between himself and Liam. Daniela Parodi there in 6th. George Ansel, my star of the day, I think, in qualifying. Got through into Q3. Definitely looked good. He's going to be exciting to watch in the race. Ryan there in 8th. Tom, my pick for pole position. Forget about it. Bell Belby there down, rounding off the top 10. We're going to now take a word from our sponsors, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder. We are going to be back with you on the other side of the intermission break. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for season number 4, round 15 of the championship. It is the finale here in Austria. My name is James Head. Jota alongside me, of course, in the commentary box. And Jota, first and foremost, standing to come into tonight. Team Chazoo out on top, already wrapping up the championship. Novus and E8, though, second and third. They are well and truly chomping the bit, given how NVR out-qualified E8 in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is going to be the critical one now, isn't it, for Novus? They've managed to finally sneak in a pretty good qualifying in the end. They were really struggling, actually, in Q3, but in the end, they managed to sort of snag that second and third spot to really apply the pressure on 88, who were just having a poor qualifying. Matteo out in Q2 is the last thing that they needed, but in the end, it's about taking the learnings, as I'm sure Novus took their learnings from last week after that incident with Cameron Dowds, actually, in Britain, which saw Chazoo take the title.
Which we're going to have a look at now and actually go into a little bit more detail, because not only have I got this on loop, that is the case. I've just realised that the incident is massively coming through. There we are. That should be okay in terms of the fixture, in terms of the audio. But coming through turn number 4, coming through the loop section, Liam Bowman on the inside line turns the car right across on Cameron Dowds. 3-second penalty was awarded because of this for failing to leave racing room. And obviously, we see it from the POV shot, we saw it from the camera shot as well. Obviously, Team Chazoo now crowned champions as a result of this. But judging from that incident, and I'm sure it'll loop through and we'll go back through it again, but Liam Bowman on the inside line, he had every right to be there, but he could have easily just steered left, avoided Cameron Dowds with contact. But in the end, that contact is the difference between winning a champion or staying in a championship fight and losing a championship.
There's a little bit of unfortunate nature that there was a little bit of wheel locking as a result of, how close the racing was. But in the end, there was no racing room, was there? You can see when it goes into the slow-mo shot how, effectively the Alpha Tower is sort of leaning towards the right and leaves absolutely, zilch to nothing space effectively for Cameron Dowds. And the 3-second penalty was enough. Novus actually managed to take enough points to take it to this race, but the 3-second penalty saw Bowman fall down the standings, and that was enough for Chazoo to take the title. So really unfortunate that the title was decided in the stewards' room, but to be fair, I think that's the very epitome of this championship this season. It's been really close, it's been really hard fought, but at the end of it, the stewards have been intervening quite a lot.
They have been intervening quite a lot indeed, and we'll go back through the standings actually, because not only is that battle for second well and truly in the mix. By the way, permutations-wise, about that battle, E-Type only need to outscore Novus Racing by 16 points for them to wrap up P2. Novus Racing can outscore by 1 point, by 2 points, by 45 points, to be honest, and they will still get P2 in that championship. They cannot overtake Team Chazoo coming into tonight. Battle for P5 on Team TF10, NLR, TTM. TTM, I think I had it as 47 points needed to try and outdo Team TF10 and hope that NLR don't outscore Team TF10 by, I think it's by 18 points even coming into tonight. Bunga Racing Team, pretty much half parcel. They have got that battle for 7th going on with TTM, but 210 points, I think they're assured for 8th.
Oh,
and L-Plan and CPI, 9th and 10th. 8 points separating them, CPI 9 points they need to try and outdo in terms of 9, as we can go, as what Joss has just referenced, it is finding that on track.
The last thing that I think a lot of the drivers really wanted here, but I wonder if maybe this could be a little saving grace for Matteo, because Matteo doesn't like this circuit at the best of times, but when you apply a little bit of rain, everyone else around starts to struggle a little bit, and maybe with the rain, he'll find the racing lines that maximise the grip, and maybe the track will be of a better quality for him, in that weird turn of events. So that does mix things up a little bit.
It does mix things up a little bit indeed. Obviously, it's going to be an intermediate compound tyre start. I'm not sure if it is going to dry up during the race. I'm sure we'll get something either in the chat or within Discord coming through about that. But everyone will be on a set of intermediate compound tyres, which does mean we could see the likes of Chazoo Tom come to the fore. He's very strong around here in the intermediates, as is Cameron Dowds of pole position, as is Kai Pearson. So the names that you would expect to be up there are probably going to be up there come the end of 36 laps here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one to watch for certain. I'm going to be keeping a firm eye as well in the midfield. I
Ooh.
think there's definitely going to be a little bit of a mixed bag here. And I'm seeing a lot of people actually on dry tyres at the moment, you know. So is the conditions out there at the moment of a mixed bag? It's a very peculiar set of events here. We've got people on soft, medium and hards across the board here. So is the rain going to sort of lever off a little bit, I wonder, towards the middle of this race? So yeah, very peculiar. It's, like I said, it's raining for me, but everyone on the dry tyres and selecting their setups as if it is going to be a dry race. So we'll make for a little bit of a mad start to this one, and I think they'd be dying for a formation lap, which they're not going to get.
They're not going to get, because the 5 red lights are going to go out now for the season finale in WR Legacy Division. And it's light turn, away we go, and Cameron Dowds gets a very good start. Kai Pearson off the line is going to get a better run, though, down in towards turn number 1. Will the WR Consult T1 champion overtake him? No, he doesn't. Cameron Dowds leads through turn 1. Kai Pearson there in second. Liam Bowman there in third. Everyone is through clean turns 1 and 2 safely. Now up the hill and towards turn number 3 at Remus. Everyone is on that sort of dry compound tyre. Liam Bowman especially so on that sort of soft compound tyre. 3 wide though going in towards turn number 3 at Remus. George Ansell to the inside line. Daniela Parodi half spin there from Bill Belby, dropping him down the field as them trying to get in the mix as well. Rayen trying to get in the mix. It's a half-hearted move, look, towards the inside line for Rayen. Tom on the back there. George Ansell having to try and fend off the attentions there. Daniel Parodi to the inside line, tries to get the job done just in the foreground. A shot now through turn number 5, gets the job done. Cameron Dowds leads, Kai Pearson second, Liam Bowman in third through the first half a lap in Austria.
Yeah, Shizu Tom looking for a little bit on the inside of Rayen as well, looking fairly sharp as well, gets the job done nice and tidy. Rayen looking to try and look for a switch by. There certainly isn't going to be there. Mistake from Azim, though, very well caught, but he loses a couple of positions. The last thing ET8 need is for one of their drivers to be out of the race. As it stands, though, Novus are going to be taking second place by a country mile.
They are indeed, and Cameron Dowds sets the fastest lap of the race on that set of soft compound tyre, doing really good out on track. Kai Pearson there in second, Liam Bowman there in third. Tootie was fighting up the attentions of NLR there with Keki and Ryan. Bell Belby trying to go up the inside on a crowd after making that early mistake. George Ansell, though, right on the back of Allison, coming up the hill in towards turn number 3. There he goes, left-hand side of the screen, and George Ansell through and he's into full. Tom there trying to get the dive bomb on the inside of Allison is towards turn number 3 as well. The rain now is nearly stopped out on track. There's a mistake further down the field. Somebody's been caught, and I think that's Rayen that's been caught on the curb at turn 3.
No, Rayen's been hit by Azim, would you believe? Azim has crashed into the back of him, and that has potentially given him damage as well. So ETA are really not finding the conditions out here comfortable. And there is a few puddles out of the circuit as well, so there's definitely changeable conditions. There is a slight dry line, but they are really struggling out there at the moment. 8th and 9th, but Azim might have damage.
Azim might have damage indeed, and that is bad news for ET8 because they need every single point they can get, and currently 8th and 9th is not good enough. 2nd and 3rd for NVR is good enough, and they'll be wrapping up 2nd as it stands, no matter the match at this stage of the race. Tootie right on the back of Ryan, coming up the hill into the right hand of turn number 9. At the Red Bull mobile curve now coming through turn number 10. Cameron Dowds there leading the way, Kai Pearson second, Liam Bowman there in third. The battle for the front 3 absolutely truly gone. 2 seconds now the gap between himself and George. George is giving Tom a bit of a thing to think about running up the hill and towards turn number 3, and Tom is going to idle his way past. Coming up the hill in towards turn number 3, job done, and Kai Pearson overtakes Cameron Dowds, his long friend and rival from WR Consult T1. Into the race lead he goes.
Allison on the hard tyre, racing at the moment with Parodi, who finds a small gap to put his Red Bull, but in the end, the TF10 boy won't make any progress on this particular occasion. Azim's still within the 10th of a second that he needs to be within DRS, but switching positions with Matteo, both also on a hard tyre as well. So leading driver on the hard tyres is Allison, who's now beginning to put George Ansell under some pressure for WR Esports, a sole WR Esports driver as well. Oh, he's understeering really badly as well, going through the left-hander.
Definitely so, and it might be the case where he's got a setup on which is half wet, half dry potentially, and that is forcing him to understeer coming through the corners, and Allison and Daniela Parodi do not want to let both of them in, because if you let them in, it's going to be like the Firefly Funhouse, coming down in towards turn number 10, as Allison, right on the back of George Ansell, comes through the final corner, on the run to the line, lap 4 out of 36, beginning Kai Pearson, Cameron Dowds, and Liam Bowman currently your top 3. Everyone is on a set of dry compound tyres. Igor Jellen's been into the pit lane early. He switched to a set of medium compound tyres. It is still raining out on track. It is very much greasy rather than anything else. Allison, though, on the back of George Ansell, looking for the move. Cameron Dowds gets the move done on Kai Pearson up the foreground a shot, and Allison looks the inside line, doesn't risk the move. Keki, though, might around the outside of Azim.
I'm curious to what. Excuse me. I'm curious to why Allison isn't actually making any progress at the moment on George Ansel. I think he absolutely should start considering it, considering the Parodi is looking very sharp at the moment. In fact, is he going to go for the dive on Allison on this occasion? He is going to put his car there, but it is a half-hearted attempt to put Allison under pressure as Keke makes the overtake on Azim. Azim may have damage from that collision with Rayan earlier on in this race, as well as ET8's chances of getting second place in this championship are fading, and they're fading fast.
They are fading fast indeed, and unfortunately, with MVR, as George Ansel makes a huge mistake coming through turn 7 and 8. Allison, easy as you like through, and he's into 5th position. George Ansel there in 6th. Set of soft compound tyres, you were referencing there about the tyre compounds that everyone's on. Set of softs are actually quite good in these conditions, but with George Ansel, definitely not working to his favours. Daniel Parodi is side by side with him, up the hill and towards turn 1. He's going to wait for now, but he's going to be right on the back of him, coming in towards turn number 3. We'll right on ball with the Italian, right on the back of him, now coming up the hill and towards turn number 3. Cameron Dez, Kai Pearson swapping for the 3rd time in the race, with Daniel Parodi and George Ansel about to do the same thing, to the inside line, in towards turn number 3 at Remus. George Ansel tries to hang it around the outside, goes a little bit too deep. That's always the Red Bull's corner, and Daniele Parodi through, and he's into 6th, and his teammate, Tudi, has dropped a position behind Ryan.
Yeah, he's struggling at the moment, actually, is George Ansel. I don't know if he's got a bit of graining on his tyres already, or something is not quite right with George at the moment. He's been pushing so hard at the moment. But Mateo going for the dive, then on George Ansel going through into turn 4, and that move is now done and dusted. George is, he's not finding a bit of comfort out there at the moment. He's finding understeer left, right, and centre, and then a bit of oversteer when he puts the power down. So a little bit of inexperience potentially on Ansel's mind, but he's just hemorrhaging time left, right, and centre as Keke looks for the move as well on these hard tyres. And remember, hard versus soft, you'd expect Ansel to have the pace, but at the moment he's been burning through his ERS as well, only 27%, but he's drifting around corners at the moment.
He is, again, nearly oversteering coming through turn number 9. Keki's right on the back of him, and honestly, if I'm a betting man, and I usually am sometimes, Keke right on the back of George Ansel, I'd be saying Keki's going to get the job done up the hill and towards turn number 3, but Keke has had a bit of a mistake coming through turn number 3. George Ansel now through turn 1 even, on the run up towards turn number 3. Cameron Dowds getting the job done on Kai Pearson once again. Keke to the inside line, getting the job done as well as Tom leads the train in front of them. Keke though into 8th position, George Ansel there in 9th. Oh, need to get caught in each other. There is a spinner, Tudi's being caught I think, and then some further down the field.
Yeah, he's definitely had a bit of a half spin going through turn 3 at the moment, so struggling out there as Azim makes his move as well, potentially damage again on that ET8 man. Looks for the switchback though, George is not comfortable with losing this position though, as he goes side by side with Azem here. Azem looking to just hold on the inside line here, and gets into a collision with George Ansel going through the corner there. I think there's a little bit of understeer on the course of the ET8 man, and unfortunately a second incident involving Azem is making this situation for ET8's second place in the standings going from far bad to worse.
Yeah, definitely gone from bad to worse indeed. Azim there now down all the way into 9th position. Got to feel sorry for George Ansel. They're down at 18. Getting caught in that incident was very difficult because I think they just merged basically on each other coming through the corner. Speaking of merging, Belby's right on the back crowding further down the field in P7, on to lap 7 in P13 right now. Rayan right on the back of his train as well. Allison going for the move on Tom. Daniel Parodi going for the move on Tom. 3 wide though on the battle we're on board with. EPL fly through on the outside and inside lines. Rayan and Belby got to not hit each other coming through turn 3 at Remus. Job done though for Rayan. He gets double the move, and Rayan through and he's into 12th. Belby there in 13th. And of course, Belby Jota, a podium setter. Oh, it's a bit of a bump draft going on. What do you think it is? IndyCar coming down the hill in towards turn number 4. Killer now through. Crowding has been crowded out of 3 positions in the space of many corners.
Oh, damn you, I was going to go for that one as well. He's been crowded out. He's been absolutely swarmed, hasn't he, between the likes of the EPL boys and CPR's Michela as well. So a bit unfortunate for the BRT man as well. Loot up in 11th on a soft tyre alongside crowding as well. The soft tyres are ready to fall. I'm wondering if they're already beginning to fall off a little bit here, as well as Azim is now coming in to get off of these hard tyres. Set of mediums and surely a front wing change coming. It was a big hit versus Rayan earlier on in this race here. So surely he's coming off. Set of medium tyres, and the sun is starting to break through the clouds.
Medium compound tyres, I think, is going to come on the car. You mentioned that front wing change. It is going to be a front wing change for Azim, so he is into the quick lane. Front wing change now happening. He's going to be behind Igor Jelen. right down at the back end of the field. There is stuff happening as well further up the field. Allison and Daniela Parodi are side by side coming out the corner, running down the hill and towards turn number 4. Allison's move though to the inside line, running down the straight. Job done for the Dutchman. He is Thunies into 5th. Daniela Parodi, the Italian, they're in 6th position. Aiden there in the chat saying about Martin. We did catch that move for Martin. Big snap of oversteer by Daniel Parodi. That move for Martin, though, on crowding. Another position that got crowded out for crowding. Martin there in 14th, doing a good job. And he's definitely coming alive now in those centre mediums.
Yeah, he's looking sharp at the moment, actually, is Daniele Parodi, to be able to catch snaps like that one, but he still wants to keep the pressure on Allison, of course. Remember, these are the front runners on the hard tyre, being held back, you'd have to argue, by Shazoo Tom. 3.6 seconds the gap between him and the front three at the moment. Kai Pearson setting the fastest lap. But Allison, would be wise to start considering, do I need to consider my long-term prospects in this race? Make the overtake on Tom and start pulling away here, because he is a dark horse alongside Parodi for the race win tonight. Only 3.5 seconds the gap between him and now the new race leader in Cameron Downs.
Oh, nearly 4 wide as we come in towards turn number 3. Matteo goes through the middle of all of them. Matteo gets the job done.
Brilliant.
It's like Miami all over again. Matteo through and he's into 4th. Allison there in 5th. Allison just weaves, says fair play, and Tom and Daniela Parodi now are side by side. Down the hill and towards turn number 4. Tries to get the move done. Bit of a clout there from Tom to the inside line. Daniela Parodi, though, gets the traction. Coming out the corner. Gets the job done. Thuni's into 5th. But marvellous Matteo strikes again. It wasn't... I was going to say it wasn't quite the quadruple overtake, but it's a triple overtake, and he gets the job done. Thuni's into 4th.
Yeah, he's making a habit of making the double, treble, quadruple, quintuple overtakes, isn't he, at the moment, Matteo? And it's just a real testament to the reason why he is the PSGL F1 champion, for sure. Allison will be a bit shocked that he's ended up missing out on that one, because now he is no longer the front-running hard tyre runner. It's now Matteo in this one as well. Tom, though, going back to him, not sure what's happening with him at the moment. The soft tyre's not working for him very well, and he goes for what I think is a very opportunistic move against Allison, and ends up allowing Parodi to get on the overtake around the outside of him. So, yeah, not sure exactly why he went for that one, knowing that the move was not going to be there. Allison overtaking Matteo for 4th, though. Yeah,
very simple overtake as well, and Tom's trying to fend off the attention of Keki to the outside line. Keki now going to try and get the run down the hill, deploys the DRS a little bit sooner, but Tom has a bit of battery, and it has a bit of battery length running down the hill and towards turn number 4 that keeps that move for 7th position. Drivers, though, in the chat say, people in the chat, though, saying, Luke Humphries especially, hards will be better now. I totally agree with that. I think Tom's tyres are completely falling off. But then again, you say that about the set of soft compound tyres, and then you see the front 3, who are within a DRS train, 3.2 seconds. They're getting to cool down their tyres a lot more than these guys in behind. So no wonder Tom is falling off in terms of his tyres. Definitely not working for him. Definitely working, though, for Lou, who's on the back of this train and is actually keeping up the NLR boards.
I'd argue the hard tyre is probably the better tyre to be on at the moment. They're holding on, despite the DRS train, quite well to the front 3 at the moment, are Allison, hovering around about the 4-second barrier, going through turn 1 then. We'll see how he takes the corner, losing the rear ever so slightly, so he'll lose a little bit of time through here down this straight, but the gap's still remaining around 4 seconds as Cameron Downs retakes the lead on this race here. Him and Matteo getting into a little bit of a scrap, though, going through into turn 3 as they decide to swap positions once again. Switchback opportunity potentially for Allison, as TTM are looking to try and sign off this season in style, with the big news about them having the PlayStation side. Will they be able to set the precedent going into the next game cycle? Allison certainly is, as he goes back into 4th.
Yep, Allison proving it's not a sin out on track for him. That was terrible. Into 4th he goes. Matteo in 5th. Daniel Parodi there in 6th. You'll get that if you were a certain age. Don't worry. Tom there on the back of Keki, 7th and 8th position. Cameron Downs, Kai Pearson, Liam Bowman currently in the top 3. We're nearly a third of the way through this race, and it's already been action-packed. So goodness knows what the second half of this race is actually going to be like. But it is Shazoo currently leading the way, and as it stands, don't need Jota's phony calculator at this stage, I'll just put it that way. It is literally simple maths. 2nd and 3rd MVR, they are wrapping up P2 in this championship completely, but you can get the calculator out for the battle for P5 potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I'm going to keep an eye on that one and see if I can start adding it up. But at the moment, it's going to be 56-point gap between ET8, the man that being overtaken off a 4th error, has got a little bit of an overtake and a mistake, potentially a switchback. That is one hell of an angle to go for a switchback, Cameron Downs, but there's a reason why you are a fan favourite and certainly going to be a favourite going into the next game cycle. Putting Bowman under pressure, boxed in, but the pressure is going to be all around. There's a mistake potentially from Liam Bowman. Is it going to be boxed in, though? Well done by NVR, as he's now certainly going to be boxed in, and Cameron Downs is going to have to surely hold on and stay for P3.
we might have not seen eye to eye in terms of commentary with MVR this season, but put it this way, that was absolutely brilliant in terms of team tactics. You cannot fault them in terms of that whatsoever. It has now lost Cameron Dowds a little bit of time. It's in fact lost them all time a little bit because Matteo, 3.1 seconds in behind, has gained them about half a second on that lap. So it is looking pretty good now for the guys on the set of hards. And not only that, the softs are obviously going to be dropping off as we go through the lap. So Matteo, Allison, they're going to have to work together. Liam Bowman and Kai Pearson are going to have to work together to try and fend off Cameron. But Cameron is like, nah, I'm not interested. I don't want this move. You two can have fun out in front, and I'm just going to sit in behind and conserve my battery. Oh, as he goes for the move, actually, to turn 3.
Yeah, he is looking for it, but he will be boxed in, though, so certainly. The NVR boys will now work with each other to try and hold that off, but the more time that they lose is going to mean that, obviously, Matteo and Allison are going to get closer and closer in this battle. So, actually, Allison and Matteo and Parodi have all got to work with each other, and the 3 soft boys at the front, oh, that's a weird thing to say, have also got to really look out for each other and start working with each other as well here. So, don't blame Novus for boxing in, but they are going to lose time for every time that they do that, and now the gap is down to 3.
If I was honestly the front 3 right now, I'd think about maybe coming into the pit lane, because that time is going to be lost. And speaking of which, there goes Kai Pearson into the pit lane on the right-hand side, Cameron Dowd. As a result, Liam Bowman makes a mistake. Cameron Dowd's there in second. Now, do they play chicken or do they play together and hold that gap? Because holding that gap is going to be so important when Alice and Matteo come in for a set of softs later on in this race. This is the crucial part of this Grand Prix. Cameron Dowd is like, nah, I'm not waiting for this. You can get stuffed, my friend. The Flying Scotsman's now going side by side up the hill in towards turn number 3, but it is Cameron Dowd's move. The original Flying Scotsman, the one behind of Liam Bowman, they're in second. He's going to have to settle for second because he's through, and he's into second position. Cameron Dowd's through and into the race lead. Matteo fighting with Allison, also fighting with Daniela Parodi down the hill and towards turn 5.
Yeah, they're working with each other at the moment. They're hard tire runners. They know they're on the inverse strategy, so it doesn't make any sense to put each other under all of that pressure and just work with each other. George Ansell for the WOR team getting the fastest lap of this race with a 106.024, down in 19th at the moment, of course, after that spin with Azim earlier on, who's in 15th. But as it stands, Matteo now up into 3rd alongside Allison and Daniela Parodi. But keep an eye out on Liam Bowman and Cameron Dowds. Are they going to switch positions now? In this occasion, Liam Bowman is going to come in straight after the lap after of Kai Pearson at the moment, but Kai Pearson 17 seconds and also critically has got some clean air.
And Tom is also into the pit lane, so that is why Shazoo is splitting their strategies. They are wanting Cameron Dowd just to push on an extra lap. Tom, though, interestingly, I think, is into the pit lane, and that could cover off Liam Bowman. That could also bring him into play with the battle for Kai Pearson and that battle for front 3 later on with him gaining that time. So it is going to be interesting. Liam Bowman is coming out of the pit lane alongside Kai Pearson, and Tom is coming out, I think, it's going to be alongside 2D, if I'm not mistaken. He's actually well ahead of 2D coming out of the pit lane, so it's good for him. He's in clear air, but it's also bad news for him because he's got Azim up the road by 2.5 seconds. Tom there is behind him, and he's in a bit of no man's land, so he's going to have to use up that battery to try and capitalise on anything that NVR do ahead. So, regardless, Shazoo are going to be backed into a corner.
Yeah, Liam Bowman lost about 2 or 3 tenths, staying out 1 lap later than Kai Pearson in this one. So the undercut is not very powerful around here. So could go a little bit longer, good Cameron Dowd. He will end up coming out behind the 2 NVR boys. And the NVR boys, of course, are actually in clean air as well. And there it is. No surprise, Cameron Dowd is going to extend his stint a little bit and actually may start to invite the likes of Alison Matteo and Danny Parodi into his sight, I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, people are in the chat probably thinking, what the hell am I saying right now in terms of Tom covering off the battle? But look, Cameron Dowd is staying out there. The guys in behind are catching him. Matteo and Allison are all working together. They're in a DRS train. But look, Tom is what, 2 seconds behind? Less than that? A second behind on Azim? They're only 2.5 seconds off the back of Liam Bowman and Kai Pearson. Around that track, it is easy to gain that battle because Kai and Liam obviously are not going to be working together. They're just going to hold track position. Tom there down in 14th. He's, what, 4.5 seconds off right now to that battle? That gap is going to be whistled away. He's playing, I think, more for Cameron Dowd, because Cameron Dowd at this stage of the race is losing about a second a lap, let's just face it. And if he continues on again, it's going to lose him about a second and a half on the next lap. So that's where I'm getting at with terms of my maths.
Yeah, I'm keeping a firm eye on the gap now with Cameron Dowds and Matteo. Cameron Dowds is losing a bucket of time now
Still
on
continues.
Matteo, but he's staying out another one on the soft tyres as well. So he's double extending his stint. He's going to lose at least around about half a second, I'd suspect, in the undercut to Liam Bowman, and nearly a second, I would say, on Kai Pearson. So needs to be careful here about where he's going to be in relation to Tom, you know, because, of course, although they are going to be working together as teammates, Tom is going to be slowly bridging that gap because, of course, he's on a fresh, hard tyre and has got clean air as Allison and Matteo switching positions, and Tom getting a 3-second penalty, so he is pushing.
Definitely so, and Tom, honestly, with Azim, they're not going to be working together, so it is going to actually bring Kai Pearson and Liam Bowman into play. They are going to work together potentially. I did say they weren't going to work together, but they are, as Matteo goes for the move on Allison down the hill and towards turn 4, gets into second. But look now.
1 second.
Look now. Cameron Dowds, the gap is 1 second. He's obviously going for a set of medium compounder tyres. If I was him, I'd be in the pit lane in this lap. 19 laps on a set of mediums, more than capable of getting to the end of the race. So if I'm Cameron Dowds, I'd be coming in the pit lane right now, because Matteo and Allison are going to close up on him, and honestly, if Cameron Dowds doesn't pit in this lap, he's going to be swamped by the whole field on a set of hards, who are eventually going to go on a set of softs. So, again, back to my point, Team Shazoo are getting back into a corner, and Cameron Dowds is going to be more near Tom and Azim than he is the front two and Liam Bowman and Kai Pearson.
I agree, and I don't think he's going to be going for the medium tyre either. I think it's a bit of a long shot for the medium tyre, but he is going to it, so we'll see what he does. A little bit of tyre management will be needed in this stint, as Liam Bowman now getting the fastest lap of this race, which just really emphasises the entire strategy call from Team Shazoo, who now leaves the pit lane, and the gap is going to be pretty significant. Tom is now going to be overtaking Cameron Dowds as well. Is he going to be getting in front of Azim, I wonder? The question, the answer is absolutely not. So bucket of time lost looking to try and get onto the medium tyre. The question is will the medium tyre be the tyre to be on at the end of this race? 18 laps to do it.
Yep, 18 laps to do it indeed. Cameron Dowds, though, he's got a full amount of battery. That's what I'm going to say now. He's got a full amount of battery, and I know what is going to come out of my mouth now. He is the best in terms of ERS saving on this game. No question about it. Cameron Dowds is the best, and he is going to prove that he's the best. He's got Azim on what, 10 lap older tyres ahead of him? This should be easy for Cameron Dowds. This will be picking off, literally, a back marker like me on a 5-lap open lobby, I think, for Cameron Dowds right now. Coming now through in towards turn number 8. Azim just let him through. Perfect for Azim. Cameron Dowds now sets about on Tom. But that 6-second gap that they've got, bear in mind Tom's got a penalty now as well, that 6-second gap between Tom and Cameron Dowds, with EPL now getting in the mix, them joining in the back of Rayanne and Bell Belby, Tom and Cameron Dowds are going to have to forfeit some of that battery to even get close.
Yeah, and EPL not really making too much of a battle there with the two Novus boys, knowing that their race is not with them. So they hide out of the way, but it is still going to be a little bit of traffic, and that's going to allow the likes of Cameron Dowds to gain a little bit of time potentially round here as well. Of course, that was a neat little overtake actually on Azim, who just politely got out of the way and didn't put Cameron Dowds under too much pressure. Now going to be in the DRS of his teammate, and no doubt Tom will hand Cameron their position to then start challenging Rayanne and Belby, and of course then hopefully put the Novus boys under pressure as well. Otherwise, Novus are going to be taking a pretty solid 1-2 as it stands.
Harry's saying in the chat there, they're not using a lot of battery, the top guys. Liam Bowman's on 60% and 57% for Kai Pearson, so they are using battery. And that, again, begs the point of Tom, Cameron Dowds, they're going to have to swap the cars. Cameron Dowds is going to have to do the donkey work. His tyres are going to carry him into the race, but it's just whether or not he can gain that 6.5 second gap, or 5.5 seconds, whatever it was, that gap. That's going to be hard. We are halfway through the race. The roll call currently is Matteo leading the way, Allison second, Daniele Parodi third, Liam Bowman, Kai Pearson, just swapping positions as soon as I say that. Kai Pearson fourth, Liam Bowman fifth, Cameron Dowds now up into seventh behind Rayanne there in sixth, Cameron Dowds seventh, Tom there in eighth, Ryan and Azim now top 10 because they're in a battle of run up the hill and towards turn number 3 even. Lou, 2D, Keki and Killer and crowding top 15, and then Martin Belbelby, Igor Jelen, George Ansel, who had a brilliant qualifying session, fell apart from him in the race. Here comes Azim to the inside line on Ryan. Towards turn number 4, Schlossgold tries to fend off the move, does the Ferrari, he does so successfully, coming out of the corner. But that's the roll call, and still, everyone on a set of hards continuing on, apart from Matteo Daniele Parodi, the two Italian stallions in the pits.
Yeah, curious. The Cameron Dowds dropping the gap now to about 3.7 on Rayan, but Rayan, of course, on the old hard tyre, they're now pitting. So Gap will be around about 5 seconds to Liam Bowman. Then for Cameron Dowd, the question is how quickly is he going to be able to find the time on these medium tyres before they start to fall off a little bit, I wonder, as his gap will be, as I said, it'll be around about 5 seconds. It's 5.8, so yeah, we're coming across turn 1, and we'll see if that gap does decide to fall as the two Novus boys switch his position, and now 50% ERS for Kai Pearson and 70 for Liam Bowman, so they're now beginning, I believe, a little bit of a cycle of managing their race on these hards.
Yeah, definitely so. It's now going to be really intriguing because everyone is now pretty much within the same pack. Tyrell Martin to the inside on NL Killer NL even to the inside on CPR man outdone there by the TTM man running down the hill in towards turn number 4. Keki and Tudi are side by side as well, just off camera shot, but they are side by side, and Keki's through on Tudi, and he's through and he's into ninth position even ahead of 2D there. Allison's still yet to pit in. I think he's the only one that hasn't came in the pit lane. Azim's going to have to come back in the pit lane, as is Eagle Jelen right down the back of the field. Everyone else, I think, is capable of getting to the end of the race. That gap, by the way, I know people are saying that I'm lacking potentially in the chat there, but look at the gap. Kai Pearson, Liam Bowman, 4.5 seconds clear Cameron Dowd, who's now gapping his own teammate. Is that the question of they're working together, they're saving a bit of battery, and they're trying to make this out to the end? Because I'm just going to put it this way. Cameron Dowd on those tyres, that 4.5 second gap, yes, they'll be fresher, but he is going to have to be using up so much more in terms of that compound compared to the hards, where the hards are more durable. So Cameron Dowd having to do the donkey work. Tom's carrying him there in 4th position. They can work together, obviously, with the NVR boys working together. I think everything's just going to even itself out, honestly, and we're just going to see 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as it is.
Yeah, it's looking pretty intense at the moment, though. The fastest lap of the race for Cameron Dowd's personal best, actually, sorry. On the 20th lap, then, I'm getting a 105.4. Kai Pearson, though, his nearest rival on circuit in front of him, setting 106.2. So at the moment, especially, Cameron Dowd is pushing and is able to find around about 1.2 seconds at the moment on Kai Pearson. Gap is around 4 seconds. It was 5.8 at the point of him tucking in behind Kai Pearson, but he is finding time left, right, and centre. And I believe that within the next 3 or so laps, Cameron Dowd will be putting pressure on the two Novus boys again. And remember, he's also carrying Shazoo Tom behind him as well on the hard tyre.
He is indeed, and that is good because Tom obviously has got that 3-second penalty, and they're gapping Ryan and Lou out to nearly 3 seconds, so that could work pretty well in Shazoo's favour with Tom in particular. Matteo and Azim are side by side with Daniele Parodi. Daniele Parodi, I think, has got them both down the hill, up the hill even towards turn number 3. Daniele Parodi into 8th, Matteo there in 9th, Azim there rounding off the top 10. Everything at the minute is just sort of calm, collected. It's the calm before the storm, potentially, in the season finale here in Austria. If you are liking the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Liam Bowman, though, leading the way. Kai Pearson 2nd, Cameron Dowd's there in 3rd. Cameron Dowd's, by the way, I love it how people are saying in the chat he's used more battery. He's 79% and has got the same amount of battery as Kai Pearson does. So, yeah, come at me with that comment again and you'll find out.
Yeah, he's currently at the moment actually managing his ERS quite well, and I think you're right to bestow the title of best ERS manager in esports at the moment is Cameron Dowd. I think he's absolutely flying high at the moment with these medium tyres, but they are going to fall off much quicker than the hard tyres. But gap falling and falling and falling as Kai Pearson will switch positions again with Liam Bowman, but the gap remains at around about 3.3 seconds going into turn 3, though. You can see he's just there. He can reach out and potentially drag them back. Cameron Dowd will be wishing everything to try and get closer and closer. Gap 2.9.
Yeah, definitely so. Keki on the back of Ryan. Ryan there 5th. Keki there in 6th. Good, by the way, for the symmetry, the symmetrical guys amongst you, because it's currently NVR 1-2, Shazoo 3-4, NLR 5-6. Don't say Legacy Division is boring, because I think this is probably being the most boring middle half of the race I think we've had all season, I'll be honest.
Looking pretty good at the moment, but for Cameron Dowd's got 2.5 seconds going through the right hand there. Final couple of corners looking sharp, actually. Mercedes power unit in the back, of course, not Mercedes, so you can hear it roaring away, but not using much ERS, though, as he still manages to knock another second off Liam Bowman, actually, on the last lap as well, so he's flying out there.
Definitely flying out there. Your connection seems to be flying out the window right now in terms of the TARDIS that's coming through on my ear set right now. Keki there getting the move done on Ryan. Clooney's into 5th. Ryan there in 6th now. and Lou, Daniel Parodi, all chasing really that gap, as even Killer NL, a side-by-side run up the hill in towards turn number 3. Killer NL trying to fight off Azim. Martin 2D 13th and 14th currently out on track as well. Daniel Parodi now side-by-side with Lou in towards turn number 4. Job done for Daniel Parodi. Spoonies in 7th, Lou there in 8th, Mateo there in 9th. Good job, by the way. It is Jota having the issues rather than me normally having the issues, because otherwise OBS will be dying and everything else will be fine. But everything else I think is fine. I think we've got Jota back.
Just did a quick sense check, and hopefully I do sound a little bit better, but at the moment I'm giving a firm eye, and Cameron Dowds again going back gap now 2 seconds as he's really closing down the gap, so hopefully I'm sounding a bit better.
Yeah, you're definitely sounding less robotic, put it that way. In our commentary box here, Mateo is now on the back of Lou, and he's going to fly past him down the straight in towards turn number 1. Job done for Mateo. Spoonies into 8th, Lou there in 9th. While we've been off the battle for the lead, look at the gap. Cameron Dowd is 2 seconds behind on Kyle Pearson and Liam Bowman. He is eating into that margin very, very swiftly indeed, and that gap is consistently going to come down. So I will eat my own words with what I said earlier on. I don't think the gap was going to be caught earlier on. Now it is, by no shadow of a doubt. And obviously, with Daniela Parodi, Ryan Keki fighting as well, all the likes of Daniela Parodi going to come into play later on this race, because he is catching hand over fist. He's got the NLR boys to deal with, but once he's past the NLR boys, he's going to be flying.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm going to be keeping a firm eye on the likes of Allison and Martin as well, though, for TTM 10th and 12th respectively, doing a good job actually in their positions now. Actually, Allison, I don't know why I said Mateo from then. Allison's doing a really good job on the medium tie now, 4-lap holder, significantly younger versus everyone else around him, so he's got an opportunity to close down the gap on the front 9. Where Martin, on the other hand, of course, is on stretching out his hard ties to the end of this race in 12th. So opportunity potentially for some points towards the end for Martin in what has been a pretty weak weekend from the OG. But Ryan and Bell Belby so far off the pace in 13th and 14th in what has been an unfortunate set of events here, as we've got potentially a couple of swaps there. Danny Parodi now up to 5th, Mateo up to 7th, as the NLR boys are now split in 6th and 8th.
Yep, definitely so indeed. Game knowledge, by the way, will be improved going on to F124. I'll do my homework, unlike some people in the chat. But Liam Bowman leading the way from Kai Pearson in second. Outside line for Mateo, going around the outside on Keki. Now switches it back to the inside line. Keki parks the car like an absolute bus coming through turn number 4. Job done for Keki, holds on to that position. Mateo there in 7th, cannot find a way through. Not sure if he might have picked up a little bit of front wing damage and all of that as well. That was a significant hit. A significant hit enough for him to lose a little bit of front wing damage, but Mateo there in 7th on the back of Keki. Keki there in 6th, Mateo there in 7th, still fighting off. Cameron Dowds, gap 1.5 seconds now between Liam Bowman and Kai Pearson for the race lead. Tom there carrying as well. But as I say, Daniel Parodi now clear of the NLR boys. He's beginning to fly. Mateo's going to be the one that's flying from further in behind as well. So what we've got now, Jota, unlike what I said earlier on, is one hell of an ending coming up here out on track. Liam Bowman, Kai Pearson leading the way, all getting caught by faster runners in behind. This will make for a fantastic finale towards the end.
Oh, 3/10 in one quarter for Cameron Dowds at the moment. He's flying out there, but Keke and Ryan started to get really spicy at the moment for NLR in the Ferraris. It's him getting the fastest lap of this race as they try to throw anything and everything that they can at this race, but it looks like it's going from bad to worse for ETA in their season. He's going to wrap up in 3rd, but keeping a very firm eye at the moment on Cameron Dowds, who's finding now tenths of a second in each corner. He's flying, and they're only 10-lap-old medium tyres. Definitely got a little bit of life left in them.
They have got a bit of life left in them, indeed. I think they'll probably be about 5% fresher off currently compared to the hards in front, but by the end of the race, they'll probably be more 5% in the favour of the set of hard runners compared to the mediums towards the end of the race. But Liam Bowman leading the way, Kai Pearson in 2nd, lap 29 and 36, 8 laps to go now in the WOR Legacy Division race here. And honestly, it is going to be an absolute thriller, because now NVR might have to think about working together to try and fend off the attention of Team Chazoo. Team Chazoo really mean business here tonight. They've wrapped up the championship. They want to get bragging rights over the track here on NVR, here in Austria. And they're in 3rd and 4th position. Cameron Dowd and Tom absolutely flying out into the back, nearly within DRS range. Again, Cameron just having to use a bit of battery up. Liam Bowman carrying the straight down towards Son of Hook, carries the overspeed in towards the corner, makes a mistake though, and now that means Cameron Dowds is within a second, and now here comes the games between Chazoo and NVR.
Yeah, but critically, though, Cameron Dowds, and this is where I'm now going to start agreeing with the chat, he's actually been burning through his ERS a little bit now. 50% ERS are plenty at his disposal. The issue is Novus currently are at 75 and 90% at the moment between the pair of them, so they've been managing their race quite well. They wouldn't have wanted Cameron Dowds to be attacking as early as this with 6 laps to go as they come across the start-finishing line, but they've definitely got the upper hand when it comes to the amount of electrical energy at their disposal. The question is, has Cameron Dow's got enough laps to then start harvesting some energy to put a real attack on towards the end of this race?
Definitely so, yeah. It's going to be really intriguing. Kai Pearson, Liam Bowman currently leading the way. Is Liam going to... is Kai going to look for the move on Liam in towards turn number 3? No, but Matteo is on Daniel Parodi around the outside in towards turn number 3. Job done through Rumus, and now coming down towards Schlossgul. It is the Aston Martin's move, but Daniel Parodi is going to fight back at him down the straight, and he's not done with yet. The PSGL PCF3 champion running on the outside line. Matteo's like, nah, you can come through, mate. Daniel Parodi through, and he's into 5th. Matteo there in 6th, and that is going to be the sign now of the Italians having to work together to try and not only fend off Keke, Ryan, and Lou in that battle, but also try and bring them into play and make an 8-9 car train potentially towards the end of the race. It is a fascinating outlook to this race. Liam Bowman, Kai Pearson currently leading the way. Cameron Dowds, Tom 3rd and 4th. Daniele Parodi, though, 1.9 seconds and still closing. He has got the tyres to get to the end of the race. He is the one to watch in this race.
Usually we're giving all of the awards to Novus with regards to their strategy, but you know what? Shazoo have absolutely nailed the strategy this race, haven't they? You got what alternate strategies happening with Cameron Dowds on the medium and Tom on the hard, getting him just behind Tom, using the DRS to then get in front of Tom and then carry Tom all the way up until the front 2. Yes, the 3-second penalty doesn't fall in their favour, but that is now going to offer the opportunity for Cameron Dowds, if he's still got life left in the medium tyres, to make a move on Novus to take the race victory. And then Tom just needs to match the standards of Team Novus, and of course they are on the same tyre, 16-lap old hard. So this is actually been a really, really good race on strategy for Cameron Dowds, for Team Shazoo, and for Tom. Brilliant.
And Liam Bowman's just made a mistake coming out of turn number 4 there as well. Kai Pearson, Cameron Dowds, Tom, all within a train of each other now. And that could mean one or two things. MVR can either back up Shazoo into the rest of the field, who are going to catch anyways, or they're going to have to try and let loose in terms of trying to gap them. And I think it's going to be more the former rather than the latter. I think they're going to try and hold up Shazoo an absolute treat here. They might try and get bragging rights, Team Shazoo, because they've already won the championship. They are there, 3rd and 4th position. NVR 1st and 2nd. It is the battle of wills. It is the battle of egos, quite literally as well, out on track. But Liam Bowman leads the way. Kai Pearson 2nd. Cameron Dowds in 3rd. And here comes Cameron Dowds on the back of Kai Pearson. These two age-old rivals in WOR Consul Tier 1 again with a box effect in towards turn number 3. Cameron Dowds, though, has looped it around the outside of Kai Pearson, and it's job done for Cameron Dowds. Now he sets his sights on the flying Scotsman ahead and Liam Bowman. Liam Bowman holds the lead. Cameron Dowds in 2nd. Kai Pearson, Tom. Immediately, my threat is Daniele Parodi, Matteo all catching, but Kai Pearson, I think, has been given the order to hold up Tom, bring him back into the Daniele Parodi and Matteo battle, and then let the front 2 battle.
Yeah, and then Tom will be given the order, overtake Kai Pearson and do it quickly, because this is going to be the critical element to their strategy, is that they've been holding each other up. Oh, mistake from Kai Pearson, though, going over the curb. So, yeah, you can see that there's a little bit of pressure falling now on the 18-lap old hard tyre runner. 17 laps for Tom and for Liam Bowman. 14-lap medium for Cameron Dowds, though. Is this medium going to go the distance in terms of the race pace, though? At the moment, it looks like it is, but Cameron Dowds has got to seriously consider now using his ERS. 86% ERS. He's saved a lot.
And it's an 8-car train, as I've just referenced there as well, because Daniele Parodi, Matteo, Keke, Ryan, welcome to the battle. Cameron Dowds to the inside on, and Liam Bowman trying to get the job done. Up the hill and towards turn number 3 of Remus, job done for him. But Kai Pearson, which I didn't reference in my earlier point, he's got a full amount of battery, so he's actually going to be using up on the back of Cameron Dowds late on in this race. So this is absolutely fascinating. Daniele Parodi might have that battery, but he's got the tyres toward the end. Who on earth is that has joined in, by the way? The bottom end of your screen. Cameron Dowds leads the way. Liam Bowman 2nd, Kai Pearson then 3rd. There are only 2 assurances towards the end of the race. 1, we're not getting a safety car or VSC. And 2, this is going to be a thriller of an ending.
Certainly is. I'm just keeping a firm eye then. 3 laps to go in this one. What will be a sprint on very old tyres for a lot of people now. Daniele Parodi and Matteo will be fighting it out here. Matteo will sort of be sinking into his seat, realising I don't think the second place is going to be happening. My teammate down in 17th, so makes sense, I think, not to put Parodi under too much pressure. Just maximise your points haul and take it through into the next game cycle.
And Daniela Parodi now sets his sights on the back of Tom. Tom sets his sights on the back of Kai Pearson. Everyone just sets the sights on each other. There could be like a headbutt fight with John Fury and the likes, which we've never seen. Inside line for Tom, to the inside line of Kai Pearson, gets the job done, puts Kai Pearson now back into fourth. Daniela Parodi have a fight. Now Cameron Dowd is on the back of Liam Bowman, running down the hill and towards turn number 4, goes for the move, to the inside line, the Flying Scotsman battle out towards turn number 4, job done for Cameron Dowd. Looney's into the race lead, Liam Bowman there in second, but is it the case of, has he hit the front a little bit too early?
Yeah, I'm wondering that one as well, actually. But Shizou Tom is immediately going for that dive bomb under Kai Pearson, and they've obviously been told hammer time for the pair of them now. So Tom now going to begin that little charge against Liam Bowman, that Cameron Dowd needs to bridge a gap between him and Bowman, otherwise he's going to carry him around these corners, as Matteo also trying to put pressure potentially around the outside of Kai Pearson. He's still there though, but Daniele Parodi also getting into the mix as well. Peculiar way of racing around those couple of corners, but on the power then, and using overtake potentially for Matteo, but stays in behind Kai Pearson. Parodi out of ERS though.
He does, and it now brings the front three into play. It is 2 against 1 for Team Shizou and Cameron and Liam Bowman there for NVR. It is going to be all hell breaking loose on the final 2 laps. Here comes Matteo on the back of Kai Pearson to the outside line. 2 of the youngest talents here on console. Matteo gets tapped by Daniele Parodi to the inside line. He spun. Now he's down into 7th. Daniele Parodi comes out of that the worst. He's down in 8th. Might have foot wing damage as well on the right side end plate. Keki and Ryan side by side down the straight, but Cameron Dowd leads the way. Liam Bowman there in 2nd. Tom there in 3rd. Immediately all of that battle has brought Kai Pearson into play, but he's got 28% of battery, so he dives things out of this. It's between the front 3. Cameron Dowd 79% of battery, Liam Bowman 92, Tom on 62. Final lap about to commence here in Austria for the final time in F1 23.
Yeah, that spin is massive as well for NLR in their battle with for TF10 at the moment in 5th place. The gap between them is not much either, and 5th and 6th place might just be enough to overtake TF10 for 5th place in the standings.
And Liam Bowman now sets his sights on the final 4.3 kilometre tour here of the Red Bull Ring. Cameron Dowd, the Flying Scotsman, under pressure from the original Flying Scotsman, running up the hill. First route of attack is turn number 3, and it's easy for Liam Bowman because he pulls to the left-hand side of the track. Job done for Liam Bowman. Cameron Dowd, though, will he be late on the brakes? He does. Late brakes in towards turn number 3, could bring Tom into play. Remember, Tom's got that 3-second penalty, so he's going to drop down through the field. Cameron Dowd and Liam Bowman, though, there sets their sights on turn number 4. They set their sights on each other as well. In towards turn number 4, Cameron Dowd comes out on top. Liam Bowman there in 2nd, tries to get the switch back at Dreams to the inside line. Might try and get the run there through turn number 5 at the Pirelli curve. Now in toward the left-hand of turn number 6. Cameron Dowd's just about hanging on. Has he got the tyres to last the end of the race? Liam Bowman has got 43% of battery, double the amount of EOS compared to Cameron Dowd. Now running up the hill in towards turn number 9. It's going to have to be a late send of the century from Liam Bowman towards turn number 9 as we now come through the final 2 corners in WOR Legacy Division season number 4. Cameron Dowd's just about to hang on. Liam Bowman's coming at him. Cameron Dowd hangs on to get the race win. Liam Bowman there in 2nd. Kai Pearson there in 3rd. Brilliant racing out on track. Keki Ryan 4th and 5th. Tom all the way down in 8th. That confirms 2 things. Cameron Dowd has won the race, and NVR have got P2 in the standings.
Yeah, that's massive, and it's massive for NLR as well, actually, with the 4th and the 5th place, respectively. The team are going to be carrying a big points haul there of 40 points, and with Daniele Parodi only getting 12 points in that one, I have a sneaky suspicion that TF10 are going to lose out on 5th place in the standings as a result of what has been a fantastic race for NLR. We'll have a look at all the points haul at the end of this stream for sure, and obviously keep an eye out at WOR League. But the final person we're going to be coming across the line is a man that we've got to be really disappointed in the end with this one. He'll take the fastest lap, I'm sure, George Ansell with a 104.150.
Yeah, he does indeed, and Igor Jelin to the line in 19th. That was a really good race out on track. Igor Jelin in the end down in 19th position, but it is Cameron Dowd once again. If that straight was 100 yards longer, though, Liam Bowman would have been past him and he would have won. Liam Bowman would have had that race win, but in the end, it's the Flying Scotsman who dominate in Austria here tonight, and it's Flying Scotsman 2.0 rather than 1.0 that gets the race win. I know it's confusing, I know it's their nicknames, but I don't care. Cameron Dowd does take the race win for Team Jizu. They wanted to try and go out in the high. They wanted to put themselves as the best team going into F1 24, and it is brilliant to see Cameron Dowd once again at the top step of the podium. In second, though, you've got to feel sorry for Liam Bowman. He had that battery. He just didn't have the run coming out of turns 6, 7, and 8 to try and master Cameron Dowd up the hill and towards turns 9 and 10. And in the end, Kyle Peterson rounding off third in a really, really good ending to what has been a fascinating league Legacy Division Season 4.
Just for context, by the way, just to follow that up as well on the conversation with TF10 and NLR, as it stands, pending shooting inquiries, which I'm sure there'll be some that needs to be added in there after a few spins here, there, and everywhere. I believe NLR have just managed to take P5 out of the hands of TF10 by a total of 10 points as a result of that one. There, 7th and 5th place for TF10, 4th and 5th. NLR as a result of what has been a really, really tumultuous race to say the least. Means that they have outscored TF10 by 10 points to take 5th overall, and I believe the final points in the prize pool as well. So really, really good effort from NLR.
Really good effort from NLR indeed, and really good effort, I've got to say, no matter what team participated within Legacy Division this season. What a season it's been. It has been one of the best, I think, on paper. I've been absolutely privileged to go through that as well, and alongside you, Joseph, pretty much throughout the entirety of the season, it has been an absolute thriller of a ride. I'm going to try and see if the top three do want to speak to us. It is a pretty usual top three, I'll be honest, but there are now people joining in the interviews, which means I don't think I have to communicate with them, because I think all of them are here.
They are all absolutely here, and they're very, I'm sure, keen to have their words about what has been, I think, an absolute blinder of a season, James. So I think we'll head over and say it's over to you.
It is over to me, indeed. And first off, we can speak to the man of the moment. It is Cameron Dowd. P1 out on track. It became a 2-for-1 situation with Team Shazoo in the end. Tom backing up there in third. Kai Pearson just falling by the wayside. But Cameron, talk us through that race, because that ending was something.
Yeah, the quality was good. I finally did like a PB in session, so that was good. I think, to be fair, the Q3 grip's a bit higher, so maybe my PB was like a low 9 before, so maybe the reason I did that was because of the Q3 grip. But the race was good. It was quite hard at the start, but the like wet track on dry tires, but it was quite a lot of fun. A few scary moments, and then I didn't think my strategy was the best, to be honest. At the time I was doubting it. I didn't think we'd be able to catch up, because I knew the MVR would be just swapping places every lap, or that's what I thought, and then I just thought it would be quite hard. But the mediums were quite quick, and then I managed to get in, and then I think I was quite fortunate that Tom got into third, because had that not have happened, I'm sure Kai would have been pressurising me, and then would have put bit more stress on me. But yeah, I think on the last lap I got quite lucky with the way things panned out. Liam got ahead, but he didn't get far enough ahead to like close the door, so I was able to have the DRS and be side by side with him before the straight even happened, so that was quite good. But my tires were messed up. It was quite scary, but yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, speaking of the tyre wear towards the end there, what was your tyres on? Because I'd imagine the guys on the set of hards probably had a little bit more inferior to you at the end.
I think they were high 60s, mid 60s. I didn't actually check, but they definitely didn't feel very nice, to be honest with you.
They definitely didn't look nice towards the end of the race. That is for sure. And obviously having to defend off two high quality drivers like Liam Bowman and Kai Pearson, and also from Shazoo Tom as well in behind, must have filled you with a lot of confidence, knowing how you battled in WOR Console Tier 1, reliving all of that back around here in Austria. It must have been a good feeling to race with them.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. It was also quite stressful. But yeah, it was an enjoyable race. I liked the battles. It's been a good season.
It has, and obviously with a second win in 3 races as well. Portugal being probably the highlight more than anything else, but a 500th of a second win. Congratulations on the race win. Jota, any questions?
Yeah, one question really. It's an absolute blinder of a race, to say the least, to wrap it up here as well. Everyone kept it nice and clean, nice and cool, and nice and easy, of course. Novus have managed to secure the second place spot. But I'm kind of curious just to go back to the British Grand Prix. Obviously, you managed to take a championship for Team Shazoo. It's obviously a massive, massive achievement for the team moving forward. The only way is up. So next game cycle coming up for you guys. What are the plans?
Yeah, we just got to see, to be honest. There's not really going to be much changes. It's just gonna have fun, do events, and then we'll see what the pace is like on the new game. I've not even had the beta of that, so I've not really got to drive it whatsoever. But it's only 2 weeks until it comes out, so yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully the handling models to quite good for my driving style. But again, I have no idea about it. We'll just have to see.
And one final question as well. I know I only had the one, but I think following up from that as well, what's personally, next for you as well? Obviously, new game cycle. It's pretty obvious that you guys you're going to be wanting to stick with Team Shazoo. So console again for your next season, or are you going to be pushing for PC potentially?
Definitely for the start, it's going to be stay on console. I even think probably the entire game will be played on console, and then after this game cycle, just depending on my situation, we'll have to take it from there and see what happens.
Have to see what happens indeed, James.
Nobody saw that camera and my shake of the fist there by him saying that, but there we are. Cameron Dowds, race winner here in Austria. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome indeed. And we can now speak to the man in the end who had to lose by 500th of a second in the end. It is, of course, Mr. Liam Bowman, the original Flying Scotsman, as I call you now. And that battle, I think, just synonymizes, I think, what happened really in that race. NVR had really good team tactics. Shazoo came alive second half of the race. You must have been surprised going into the final lap. You had a chance of actually still winning.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be on to the last lap when Cameron, we came out I think it's 8 seconds ahead, and we seen him gaining, I think it was like half a second a lap, and then he eventually got in. Just missed out on the win. We tried to get him to P1 as soon as possible. I think we got the swaps a bit wrong, but we just played it safe. We just knew we had to beat ETA or not get outscored by 18 points.
Yeah, and obviously with how the whole complexion of the race transpired, obviously Yazim was further down the field, Matteo was starting to come alive right towards the end there. You must have knew fine well that you had much more of a gap over ET8 than necessary, and as you say, you could just take it easy going through that race.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice where Azem was. I just knew Matteo was coming towards the end, and then I think he had an incident, so from then we knew it was like 100% safe. Just take it easy.
Yeah, taking it easy indeed. And obviously with a P2, they're in Legacy Division Season 4. I'm sure what Jota's question is next going to be. What is the future of NVR like? What is going to be the whole complexion of the team and going into F1 24? And are you going to be a part of that team going forward?
I'll definitely be a part of the team. Next game, going on wheel. Hoping to just be good again. I don't actually have a clue what's actually happening with the team. It's probably better to ask one of the managers about that.
Yeah, and I'm sure the site will be set even for NVR to wrap up, hopefully, a Legacy Division title going forward into season number 5. Jota, any questions?
Yeah, 7th last season, 2nd this season. So the only way is up for NVR moving forward then. You mentioned obviously you're going to be with the team, moving forward with the next game cycle. So surely you guys are going to be fighting out for the title next season again and then trying to win it. So what do you guys have to do differently, do you think, going into the next game cycle in order to be number 1?
I don't think we have to do much different, to be honest. I think we've been quite unlucky with the season, getting taken out by the same people a few times. I don't think much needs changed. I think we've had wins there and we've just been took out in half of them.
Well, nonetheless, a really good performance to get 2nd place overall. You guys must be really happy anyway with the performance of the team this season. Big upgrade, as I said, from the previous season. So, nonetheless, the team must be feeling happy, right? Yeah. Words need to be said, James.
Yeah, definitely so. I look forward to seeing how NVR get on going forward onto F1 24. Go and enjoy evening, Liam.
Yes.
Very welcome indeed. And now we can speak to the man who I'm just going to glaze over once again. The WOR Console Tier 1 champion of Season 17. Of course, it is Mr. Kai Pearson. And Kai, third out on track, obviously with the result of Tom's penalty. But again, those final few laps were really tense. You got the team tactics right earlier on in the race. What happened going on to the final 2 laps? Because it just seemed like you fell by the wayside, 8 tenths per second behind, and you couldn't really gain to fend off really the attention of Team Chazoo.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously because I pitted pretty early onto the softs, onto the hards, because my tyre wear was really bad because I was trying to push us along, trying to build the gap from the people behind. And then I saw Tom just like throw it down my inside, and I knew I couldn't afford to get into an incident, so I just took it so safe and went so wide. And then it was mainly just my plan was to make sure Matteo didn't get past. So we'd easily win, but then someone, I think, hit him from the rear, so we were fine, really. I think, obviously, we'd have liked to want to. I think if we played it a bit different, I think, obviously, it could have happened because, well, we led pretty much the whole race. But yeah, as we got P2 in the standings, which was the main aim for this race.
Definitely the main aim, and obviously with that P2 in the standings, going forward onto the next game cycle, Novus Racing definitely going to be looking to try and get one better. And obviously with how the complexion of the race changed out in the early stages of the race, Cameron Dowd obviously was on that sort of medium compound tyres. Were you always going to be fearful of the Team Chazoo boys working together? Tom, obviously with a 3-second penalty, but Cameron Dowd, more especially on that set of mediums, coming onto you within, 6 or 7 laps?
Yeah, I pretty much knew from experience that he was going to catch up. It was probably a matter of when, not if. But I feel like we could have maybe, I don't know, I think we could have played it better because I sort of just let him through. Like I lifted on the straight. There was a lot of like mixed plans we were going through. We kind of wanted him to lead to make the train a bit quicker, but he wasn't that interested in it. So I think that was a bit of a mistake letting him through. But yeah. Because I think by the time he caught us up, his pace kind of dropped a little bit compared to when he was chasing us.
Yeah, and obviously with that pace drop off, it brought Liam Bowman completely into play. 500th of a second going down for him at the end of that race. But what I'm going to ask you this question now: what does the future hold for you on F1 24? Because I know there's been a lot of talk about potentially going to PC, focusing your attentions on there. Are you going to be doing a bit of both, or are you going to be doing mainly PC and then come back to console once in a while?
I'll probably pack away the Xbox, just down PC, focus on that. Because PC and Xbox, they are very different. Like, it is quite hard to adapt to each every week. And the only reason I was on Xbox was to mainly win a WR championship. So yeah, just PC, focusing on race clip stuff, and yeah, see what the future holds.
I like his honesty about hanging on to Xbox for WOR Console Tier 1 Championship, which is what happened at the end of the season as well. Joss, are there any questions?
Yeah, back over to race clutch for yourself and as well, Kai. So you considering your long-term plans as well. You mentioned the PC race clutch, obviously closely affiliated with Alpine. God knows they need to have some potential esports drivers in the realm. Something you're going to be wanting to look for?
Yeah, that is the main aim, really. Eventually to get into esports. I think that's the goal of many other drivers as well. But I just know I need to keep at it next game and pick up the pace quickly and just do the best I can.
I've got no other questions really, to be honest with you. Only really a statement of what a fabulous season it's actually been for yourself. Obviously, what has been alluded to a load of times throughout this tournament with the WR Tier 1 Championship, and then, of course, what has been a fabulous season of Legacy Division as well. Certainly looking forward to keeping my eye on you on the PC platform as well. So best of luck for that one moving forward, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
back to you, James.
Yeah, and I'd like to echo those words as well, because Kai Pearson is one hell of a driver moving forward. Xbox's loss and console's loss is going to be PC's gain, and I know for a fine fact he is going to do very, very well over on the PC platform. Kai, go and enjoy evening.
Cheers, thank you a lot.
Very welcome indeed. And that rounds us off pretty neatly for the end of the season here in WR Legacy Division, and I really hope that you did enjoy that final race of the season. Because, put it this way, it was a bit of a topsy-turvy ride. There was all sorts going on. I couldn't keep up with the cameras, that's for sure. But what was a fantastic ending in that race, what developed into an 8-9 car train, was absolutely brilliant. And it's just testament to every single team and every single driver that we have had in this tournament this season. Because without teams, without drivers, without that passion for sim racing and motorsport, where would WR Legacy Division actually be?
Yeah, I mean, I've got no other words to echo on that one because it's just been absolutely fabulous from start to finish. The team across the sports platform in WR have brought what has been a magnificent season of racing in WR Legacy. So, not just a big thank you to all of the drivers and the teams, but the administrators and the stewards that also keep this ship afloat as well. It's been absolutely fabulous from start to finish. And the next season of racing, no doubt, is going to be equally as tight and intense as the last. So thank you very much to everyone that's been tuning in as well. And a big thank you to yourself as well, Jim. It's been an absolutely fabulous season. I'm looking forward to being alongside you for the next.
And put it this way, hopefully the streams are going to be a lot better coverage as well, moving forward on to the next game cycle.
Hey, James, I might be on time for once as well next season. We'll see for that.
I'm going to hang you to that word, I'm going to hang you to that going forward on F1 24. If that promise is broken within the first couple of races of the season, you guys in the chat have my permission to go at him. So there you go.
There we go. I've got no other words for that one. I'm looking forward to the next season nonetheless, so it's going to be an absolute blinder.
For sure, it is going to be absolutely brilliant. A big thank you, of course, to Mr. Luke Humphreys. A big thank you as well to everyone, the stewarding team, the commentary team. I know we're thanking ourselves here, but we may as well blow up our own ego a little bit more, potentially. But to everyone that has ever raced in WR Legacy Division this season, no matter if you're an outplayed racing or F7R driver, or if you're a new team like WR, this platform really does, and this event really does produce the absolute goods. And I really hope that going forward into F1 24, not only do we see the likes of Cameron Dowd, the likes of Matteo, the likes of Kai Pearson absolutely shining on F1 24, but hope you guys can actually follow us while we do that as well. I am not at liberty to say when Season 5 is going to be starting. Just know that Season 5 is going to be on the new game. I cannot disclose any more information than that because I'll probably get killed or get the stream absolutely ended off on my end. But Season 5 will return on F1 24, which is what? 2 weeks away if you've ordered the Champion Edition, which, judging by sales, probably nobody has.
Yeah, it's a fair point, actually. A lot of people... it's another one of those weird starts to the season, isn't it, where people are umming and ahhing about the next game cycle. The bottom line is, though, is that it is with valid criticism. The game has not been at its best for a while, but the last past game cycle, to be fair, has been one of the better ones, so let's hope that carries forward into the next one, and you'll be alongside us for no doubt for that moving forward.
Yep, I really do hope so as well. All I'll say is, it's after the Euros, so you can probably make yourself known from that for Season 5 moving forward. But we're going to end off the stream here. I really, as I say, hope you enjoyed it. It will be on F1 24. It will be after the Euros, and hopefully it is going to be really well received going forward. Not only have we got that, WR is going to be returning on F1 24 as well, with PC, with console tiers as well. So although you might miss us for a couple of weeks, I'm sure Social Races will be back not in the too distant future on F1 24. But to save my voice and my waffling, I'm going to end the stream here. A big thank you to everyone that has tuned in throughout the season. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have a job covering you, the action in WR Legacy Division. And hopefully, it's going to be a fantastic Season 5 moving forward as well. We're going to end off the stream here. Big thank you to our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder, who you'll hear from, of course, in a second. We are going to end off the stream now. Big thank you to everyone that tuned in. Big thank you pretty much to everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, next game cycle, F1 24, goodbye.
as I said,